This is Story Route Zero, a podcast where friends gather to talk of their travels through the good, the bad, the ugly, the funny, and even the confusing worlds encountered in games. We may not always know where we're going, but that's often half the fun. Do you have a question, comment, concern, or a story of your own? Hit us up on Twitter at storyroute_0. You can email us at storyroute0@gmail.com, and you can find everything we do at storyroute0.com. Let's have a journey. Actually, no, stop. Before, there's going to be a point, Moose and Jeff, where I'm going to tell Jason to mute both of you. We're not kicking you off. There's just something I'm going to do, and I'm just going to have Jason mute you guys, okay? You will be you will be unmuted. Just bear with us. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Baby make a speech, Star Wars fly, neighbors just shine it on. But if a night falls and a bomb falls, will anybody see the dawn? Welcome to Story Route Zero. That was Prince, Sign of the Times. My name is Matthew Kiel. I've watched a lot of video game trailers this weekend, and I'm pretty sure I'm a shell of a man that I used to be. But representing Jersey, Jason Marshall, how are you, sir?
Doing well. How are you? Besides being a shell of a...
I'm a shell of a man that feels all right. Moose, how are you? Thumbs up. And we don't have a Captain Canada, but man, I feel like a fourth wheel because we have completed the cast of Nerds Gone Platinum once again. Jeff, I wish I was good at dad jokes. Glasson, how are you?
That's Captain Massachusetts to everyone else.
Captain Masshole.
Doing well. It's good to be back on. It's been a hot minute, I guess. I think it's been, at least a month and a half, 2 months, something like that.
Since last E3.
No, not quite that long. But yeah, hanging in there.
Well, we are happy to have you back. I think you were actually our first non-host spot guest. I think you were on episode 3?
I think so.
Something like that?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and then they brought you on for a platinum reunion because why not? And now you're back.
Yeah, looking forward to talking about Xbox. It's great.
Yes, it's gonna be yes. Don't let that background fool you, ladies and gentlemen. So we talk about the video games. Before that, I want to ask how everybody's weekend was. Moose, thumbs up, thumbs down. 2 thumbs up. Let the record show. Glasson, what'd you do this weekend?
Still playing COVID hide and seek.
Cool.
Yeah, it's good.
Don't touch anybody.
No. Well, it's usually just myself anyway. So I do wash my hands. No,
I feel like that's. I feel okay. No, we're not doing this. Anyway, go ahead.
I actually saw non-gaming related. I saw the King of Staten Island.
Ooh, I want to see that. Good.
That looks all right. Yeah.
The new Pete Davidson film. It's very good, actually.
That
good.
reminds me.
So highly recommend that.
Cheers, sir.
Cheers.
Is Bill Burr's in that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I saw the trailer, and there's just one scene where Bill's yelling at Pete Davidson. I'm like, is that Bill Burr?
Yep.
If you're ever going, is that Bill Burr? It's fucking Bill Burr.
It's probably Bill Burr.
It's the pool scene in the trailer. He's like, I can't swim. You're 8 feet fucking tall.
Yeah. He's like, stand up.
Yeah, so typical weekend as usual. It's a little grocery shopping, a little beer shopping, a little video games, a little movies, and
cool.
Here we are starting the work week again.
Whatever that means for any of us. Jason.
Good weekend. I finished Good Omens.
Cool.
I had started my reread last week. It's a good book. Maybe I'll rewatch the series again. Made some progress on my Pip-Boy that I've been working on slowly. I have the screen. It's not. It's the screen. It looks like the screen. It's not powered up yet, but
Does it work? I don't know.
I don't know yet. I haven't been electrocuted yet, so
Hey,
there's
it's positive.
I submitted. I got back on the horse and submitted a review
Okay.
Okay.
for Obelisk, Iris and the Giant. It's a roguelike deck builder.
Okay.
Iris, the main character, is fighting depression, and she escapes into this world where you fight her demons, but via a card builder, a deck builder.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's I mean, by the end, it's one of those 20 minutes you beat the game, but there's stuff to find. There's new powers. It's, despite the subject material, it's a fun game.
Okay. Is it sort of like Celeste where there's like a? Well, I feel okay. I can't. That's a stupid question, Matt. Why even ask that? Because Celeste is a platformer, and that's
No. I think I knew what you meant.
But I was gonna say, is there like a sort of an inner dialogue where the characters like going after themselves?
Yeah, as you defeat enemies, you randomly can acquire memories, which show insight into why you're in this imaginary world. But they also serve as power-ups. They grant her like passive abilities, like after you defeat so many enemies, you heal, or you draw extra cards when you do that. Like they're also power-ups, not just her memories.
Okay. All right.
So that should be up sometime this week.
Nice. Well, congratulations. Glad to see glad to hear you're writing again. Look forward to reading it. As for me, I watched a lot of video game trailers. And you know how we as consumers often say, before an E3 or any sort of keynote or any sort of like conference type situation, we're like, just show us the games and you're fine. Just show us the games. I don't want to see any more games. Not that, and see, I think because I watched Escapist, I watched IGN's 4 days of whatever that was, and I watched the PS5 reveal event. I rewatched the Xbox thing because for some reason I thought there was going to be talking points there, and I was wrong. I reread the Wired articles detailing PS5 stuff, and I feel like a shell of a person. I went to bed last night just because I couldn't take it anymore, and I get into bed. Reba's like, "Are you okay?" I go, "I fucking hate video games." She's like, "No, you don't." I go, "Right now, I do." But
I mentioned it to you before, but I think we're normally used to panels, even though we're not there. But so if Bethesda hosts a panel and you're interested, you'll watch it. But then if it's someone who's not interested in Devolver, you obviously have other issues in your life if you're not interested in that, but you don't have to watch it. But with this, you had to watch everything to kind of, I mean, obviously you could look at the recaps, but you had to watch everything because you would miss something. It wasn't like, oh, we're just doing Square Enix games, we could see Final Fantasy. We're just doing this. Like, you didn't know.
It's not siloed.
Yeah.
It's all over the damn place.
Like, you knew PlayStation was going to be PlayStation, and you didn't watch the Xbox looking for a new God of War teaser. But when you watch Escapist or PC Gaming, which PC Gaming had trailers for console games, so you didn't know what you were getting, and it was just but I know we always complain, I don't want to see a CGI trailer. I want gameplay. And then all you got is gameplay. You're like, I need a break.
Yeah, because I mean, especially what I figured out is, I think this space needs something like an E3. I'm not going to hold up the ESA as an organization that was doing shit right, but I feel like there's there's a need for something like E3. And I felt that absence. I don't know what happens in 2021, but I think that like there was a lot of time. There have been plenty of times in my years doing this where I'm like, just show us games, bring games. And then I started with Escapist, and about half hour into that 2 hour, 10-minute just deluge of trailers and sizzle reels and barely any developers talking and barely any time to sort of exhale, I was exhausted and basically full. But then by the time I got to the outlets that were definitely more curated and aiming at presentation, like say IGN, the Guerrilla Collective, and even the Wholesome Direct, which I would wholeheartedly recommend people watch, just because it's very nice to see a bunch of games aiming at not murder, or not, authoritarianism, or not problematic. Like it's actually like a breath of fresh air. And like, and I look at things like that because like those games would be games I could easily bring my partner to. I don't really think I could sell Moose on Garden Story, or maybe I could, I don't know. But I feel like games told from another point of view like that would definitely fly pretty high with Riva, and so I'm trying to keep more of an eye in that space. But yeah, so that my weekend was a lot of games, for reasons that I really wanted to try and bring a lot to this, and I just couldn't carry it all. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things is, without there being E3, this is kind of the only outlet for a lot of the smaller developers to get any attention on their game. And I think the culmination of 4 days worth of trailers and gameplay and delivered in the format that was is almost like the overwhelming anxiety that a lot of people feel when they're actually at E3, walking around all these massive buildings and just constantly being flooded with visuals, and you just get overwhelmed. I experienced that when I'm at PAX, and that's like pale in comparison in size, right, to E3. So I
experienced that at PAX Unplugged, and that was a board game convention. I was kind of like, whoa, there's a lot here, dog.
It's so weird, like, because you're at PAX one day, you go back the next, you walk by one thing you saw, and you realize there's a game next to it, and you totally missed. You're like, I was literally here for 20 minutes. How did I miss next to it? It's insane.
Like, everybody in line yesterday was pissed at you for just leaning on the console and not doing anything. Like, why were you doing?
Yeah, there truly was just so many games coming, and it was overwhelming. I didn't even watch all 4 days worth of stuff. I think I watched like a day and a half worth, and I was like, okay, I've just with the Sony reveal alone, I've got more than enough to play along with my backlog. So it's like, I don't need to see anything else in it. And if stuff that was shown that ends up rising to the surface because, it's fantastic and the zeitgeist is talking about it, it'll come across my radar sooner than later. So I don't need to worry about seeing it now and then forgetting about it until the, mid to late 2021 when it actually comes out.
Yeah. So you want to just get to games?
Let's do it.
Jeff, what you playing?
So it's been so long since I've been on the show. I have no idea what I was playing last time I was on, but most recently,
you were probably still playing Assassin's Creed.
I was just going to say that. I was just going to say that. When he platinumed it, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. Yeah. I did finish it,
but you hadn't beaten it yet. You hadn't platinumed it, rather.
Yep. Status update, Jeff Glasson.
Yep. So beat it, platinumed it, loved it. Still have it installed. Definitely going to go back and play the DLC at some point.
Nice.
then I jumped over into Far Cry 4, which I had played on a different platform, maybe about a third of it in the past. But because there's whispers of another Far Cry announcement coming up later in the summer with Ubisoft's event, I felt like this is the time to finally jump into 4 and crank that out and get the platinum, because I've already got the platinum on 3 remastered, 5 New Dawn, and Primal. So I had to get the 4 in there, so I'm ready to go for 6 whenever that might come out, and at least I'll have a nice buffer of non-Far Cry content in between now and then. So did that. Jump back into Borderlands 3 because I had not played any of the DLC yet. Cranked through the Moxie DLC. Got all the trophies in that. Have not done the Hammerlock DLC yet. What is it? Guns, Love, and Tentacles. But looking forward to doing that. And then I finally made Moose happy and jumped back into Division 2. Still just having the standard base game. I didn't take advantage of the previous sales, and I should have. But I'll just wait till the next one. But having a great time leveling up, getting myself reacclimated to the game, gearing up and stuff like that.
Way easier now. It's
well, it's also I don't think the expansion has ever been on sale yet. All the sales have been like
for the base game.
No, because like the last sale that they had was you spent $30 on the Warlords of New York expansion and you got the base game. So it was $30 for both. Yeah. So you basically got the base game with the expansion, but they haven't had a sale for the expansion yet, which is understandable. It came out in March. I could see it maybe happening late summer, early fall. I think the season 2 starts tomorrow, which I'm actually really excited about. But anyways, continue, Jeff.
Yep. So knocking more trophies out on that. And then after the PS5 announcement, which we'll get to in a little bit, I'm following the lemmings here and fired up GTA 5, which I've started multiple times across PC and Xbox, but never ever got more than probably 8 missions into it before I got distracted. So sad to say I've never completed the story, but I am fully invested in doing that now. I've now made it farther than I have ever made it in the game on my PlayStation, which is great. Messed around a little bit with online with Moose and Jason and Marco and them the other night, which was fun. Looking forward to doing more of that. Especially playing some golf. I'm really interested. I've never even stepped foot on the golf course in that world yet, so that's going to be kind of fun. But yeah, really enjoying it now that I'm finally taking the time to stay on track with it. I mean, let's put it this way. Having started it, now this is my 4th time. I never played as the 3rd character.
Oh, really?
Trevor.
Yeah, I never got to Trevor's stuff in the like.
Wow.
So you never made it past the first heist?
No. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Yeah. So it's real good. I'm having a great time with it. You know, so there's certain things that are just kind of like, you know, I'm not too big fan of certain game mechanics that it wants you to do here and there. I'm not going for the platinum on this thing by any means, but having a great time with it. And it's been filling the void until the end of next week. So when we get the Last of Us 2, or the end of this week.
This Friday.
This Thursday? Is it Friday?
Thursday night?
It's Friday.
Thursday night?
Well, it's Friday.
That was another thing I read a lot about. Last of Us 2. I read a lot about
you mentioned playing across multiple systems. There was a meme. It said back in the day this was the trilogy, and it was GTA 3, San Andreas, and Vice City. And then it was like today, GTA 5, GTA 5, GTA 5, because it'll be on 3 console generations.
I think the first generation was 3 games on 1 console, and this is 1 game on 3 consoles. So, hey, listen, it's making them money. I looked at that and I thought about it, and I'm like GTA 5 is like 1,000 times larger, way more detailed than San Andreas could ever be.
Yeah.
And so, you look at that, and I'm like, I could I feel like yes, 90% of them not putting out the next one is like milking online. But I also think like as a developer, you want to be like, let's just let our thing out there and like let's enjoy the fact that we created this. Like we were flying around in the other night all online, and I'm like, oh, I can't believe this game is this big, like and seamless. Like there's no like once you load in, there's like no loading screen when you're like flying around. Like I got in TV, our co-op party person. He had a fast car and got us into the military base, and I hopped in a jet, and I'm just flying a jet around, and I'm like, I'm going from one end of the map to the other without even no load screens. Like the field of vision is great. I mean, granted, I'm working on a PS4 Pro, but I mean, it's just an amazing game.
But
GTA, GTA 5 is so fucking weird. Like
but
it really
it
is.
is seamless. Like I joined Moose and TB when they broke into the base, and I drove my car, and I was like, "Wait, guys!" I jump out of my car while it was still moving, yet the car exploded into the plane. So we all respawned and tried again, but.
It was a helicopter. It was a helicopter. Like he comes racing down the road, and like TV's like, "Damn it, Moose!" Because I held down triangle. Because I got in the passenger side, and I was holding triangle to close the door, and I'm just like, I'm an idiot. And so holding down triangle makes you take over the driver's seat. So I push TV out the driver's seat, and I'm in, and I'm like, oh well, wait, let me get out. And as I'm going to get out, here comes Jason. Wait, guys! Oh, it's a helicopter. And blows us all to hell.
Oh, God, at least when I'm not around, there's still someone doing me.
I gotta say, as far as GTA goes, the controls, you know what? Video game controls are sort of like America and our refusal to use the metric system.
Yeah,
Just
that's a
use
good point.
standard controls. Standard controls.
But like Grand Theft Auto, like Rockstar's so big. I guess because they're so big, they think they could do it their own way.
Yeah.
Tapping X to run is not okay. Everyone else uses press the analog stick down. Why do you have to be different?
Yeah.
Do you have to tap or can you hold?
I think if you tap,
well,
you'll
no. Okay, no. So if you hold, you jog / kind of run, but if you tap X, you sprint. Like it's a faster movement, and so.
Fucking up, Rockstar. Fucking up.
Well, and then
I think in the older games, if you tapped it, your stamina would last longer because it would kind of regen a little.
Yeah, it's just their controls are a little archaic. I hope, like if they could like adopt like Division 2's cover shooting controls as a third-person shooter for GTA 6, holy cow, it would be phenomenal. Like, it'd be phenomenal. The only problem is you got to hit R1 to get in and out of cover. And it's like, this is ridiculous.
Will they make a GTA 6?
They will. It's all right. They've already had during the last shareholders call, they were talking that there were leaks not leaks, but they discussed the marketing money being put towards Grand Theft Auto 6 already. Like, they're already starting to pull that money to pay for the marketing campaign. So it's already been, it's been leaked by that, but it'll happen. Yeah. But I feel like, and also my problem is I want to play it like Division 2. I'm like cover to cover. I'm like hit X to go to the next cover, and I'm like, no, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. I'm like square to reload. Nope, I'm jumping. And then it's like, why is circle reload?
I'm over here, guys. I'm over here, guys.
Like, oh God, our like. I was like, I started a whole new campaign over from scratch just because I was like, I just need to get used to these controls again, So anyways, but it's fun. It's a good time. But yeah, we restarted it because Jeff, did you mention why? Go ahead. Why did you restart?
Yes. Well, I needed to just get back into it for the story, but we all kind of loaded it up just to get the free dinero that they're giving out as part of the promotion to the lead up of it being released on PlayStation 5 in a more enhanced for PS5 version. Mm-hmm. But you get each month you get $1 million in online cashola. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely worth it.
It is because like we got a really nice
Is the
Jason
million
Guts.
in Grand Theft Auto cash a lot?
Yeah, because it cost about that amount of money to buy the suite that Jason and I
We
like.
bought
We
a
both have the
penthouse
suite.
suite.
Yeah,
It comes with a 10-car garage.
in the same building. You're like, I'm like suite
No,
3.
we
He's
actually
like suite
bought the
6.
same. We literally bought the same apartment. So
Oh.
if you actually approach and we're in the game together, you have to hit the buzzed apartment button before it loads. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you go to your apartment.
It's the same exact apartment building. Yeah.
GTA, as much money as they've made, GTA Online is their stance is we're not holding your hand. Fuck you. There's no tutorials. Good luck.
Oh yeah, it's crazy, but yeah. So like every month up until it releases on PS5, you'll get $1 million in game currency, and then for 3 months after the console releases, PlayStation Plus members will have access to a free copy of the game. So it'll only be free for 3 months.
It's weird that doesn't make me want to play GTA Online. It's
Come
really
join
weird.
us, man. Come join us.
No offense to any of you guys, I still want to play that game.
It's all right. I mean, it's just
yeah,
dude,
it's fine. Yeah.
We were waiting for Marco to like get his character leveled up, and like TV, like that helicopter that Jason crashes, it can like pick up your car, so it's got like a little hook on the bottom of it. So like TV's like, get in the car, and I'm like, all right. So I get in the car, and I'm like, what do you want me to do? He's like, I'm just gonna pick you up. So he picks me up in the helicopter. We go flying over like 2 miles over to a skyscraper, and he drops me off on the top of the skyscraper and lands the helicopter on the skyscraper. I'm like, so you just want me to drive this off here and then parachute out? And he's like, you can do whatever the hell you want to do. And so I was like, all right.
Well, Moose is like, I don't want to damage this car, so I guess I live here now.
Ooh, you just went robot on me.
Sorry.
Well, what the thing is, like in the game, in the online portion of the game, like you can insure your car, and so that's what I did. And I just like I would be leaving my car behind, and like Jason or Jeff would be like, let's get it. And I'm like, nah, don't worry about it. It's insured. It'll be delivered back to the house. But anyway.
Take the Johnny Knoxville route. Don't insure it. You don't
exactly. It's only like $1,000 to insure it.
So, okay. So Glasson, anything other than what you've mentioned thus far? Anything additional?
Yeah, I'm still dabbling with Animal Crossing on the Switch. Taking a little break from it just so I don't get too burnt out. But need to get back to it. I have quite a bit of terraforming that I've started. Need to finish it up. I actually have the centerpiece of my island is a large elevated outdoor arcade. So all the pinball machines and video games and jukebox.
Look
and
at this tricky motherfucker.
So yeah, I was going to do it in the basement of my house, but I'm like, I can't fit as much stuff as I want in here. So I'm going to do a giant one outside.
There you go.
Nice.
There you go. Yeah, so I was still like, before my save got corrupted, I was thinking about, doing something outside, like a leisure area outside. But patches and internet had other things to say about that. Yeah. So I'm out of the Animal Crossing game, and I think I'm better for it. Are you aiming at a 5-star island or no?
Yeah, I'll get there. I'm not in a rush.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, Jason, I'm going to assume you either got Platinum 100 or you're very close to it.
I'm chipping away. Days Gone is a phenomenal game. I was talking to Jeff about it. The dialogue in there is just, it's so great. Like, Sam Witwer did a phenomenal job. Like, he's constantly talking. He talks to himself a lot, which is troublesome. But he's talking a lot. But don't play Days Gone after playing The Division, because cover and hurdle are opposite in the games. So a couple times, I died in Days Gone because I pushed cover. No, I mantled that damn wall. No, I didn't want to climb it. I meant to.
Auto mantle's off. What the hell?
No, still working on that. Played a little Division 2. Grand Theft Auto, as we said. I working on 2 reviews on PC. West of Dead, which I've mentioned, the Ron Perlman top-down shooter, where you're a dead cowboy. I think that's a perfect role for him. And what else was I playing? Borderlands 3, the new Takedown came out on Thursday. This was postponed from the previous week. Beat it, but it needs a nerf because it fucking sucks. Because me and our friend TB, it took over an hour to beat it. It was just, they nerfed the Mayhem 10 enemies to a 10,000% increase in health instead of 12,000. Yet there was some bug where the enemies in the Takedown didn't get nerfed. So yeah, we did beat it. It's cool, but it needs to be nerfed because spending 90 minutes on an event that should take 20 to 30, not cool. Not cool, especially when the old Takedown I could beat it in 10 minutes. It's like, oh, I'll do a quick Takedown. 90 minutes later, couple million spent on deaths. Yeah. But that's about it.
Moose.
Lots of Division 2, lots of Grand Theft Auto Online, but also I'm playing. I brought my Switch with me because I wanted to pull it up because I've been on like an indie kick, playing some indie games on my Switch because there's been a good sale lately. So I bought Demon's Tier Plus last week, I think, and it's by Cowcat, I think it is the name of the developer.
Is that the
And
Riddle Corpses guys?
Riddle Corpses, and he also did the Xenon Valkyrie. That one that I told you to play because you like Spelunky, and it's kind of like Spelunky.
Yeah,
it's actually really good.
It's a roguelike that looks pretty cool.
Yeah, and like you just dive down and fight bosses and move on to the next level. And so he has a new game out, which is Demon's Tier Plus, and it's a lot of fun. It's a twin stick shooter. My only issue with his games is I can't go into a menu to figure out what the fuck the controls are. Like, I don't know what an item does. Like, I hit Y, and it looks like it shields, and I'm like, I don't know what this is. Like, the game doesn't tell me. Like, it doesn't. If I could go into options and see that Y is like special or like, you know what I mean? Like, then I would at least know it's a special, and I can mess around with it and see what it does. But anyways, I also played 12 is Better Than 6, which is it's like a black and white.
That's a fun game.
Shooter. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm enjoying it thoroughly. Most of these are, Demon's Tears is $20, but I believe 12 is Better Than 6 is under $5. I also played Goner, Gonner, which is, Matt, I think it's right up your alley. Yeah, Goner. Yeah, which is right up your alley if you haven't played it. It's a side-scrolling roguelike, and it kind of has a Dark Souls feel to it, as in, like, it doesn't tell you fucking anything. And so you just have to figure it out on your own. And then you're like, so you get, as far as I know, you're just a blob, and you get a head, which depending on the size, increases the hearts you have. You get a gun. Could be a pistol, could be a shotgun, and then you get a power-up. And so, like, if you have a heart actually reloads your weapon, so you don't have to look for ammo, but it has a cooldown. Or there's, like, wings, which means, like, you do, like, an auto burst, like an auto shoot for, like, 10 seconds. And then, so that game is a lot of fun. I really enjoy the art style of it. So I'm looking forward to playing it more often. And then the last indie that I tried was Drogon, Dungeons of Ink and Paper, which is like, it looks like somebody's drawing in their notebook. And so it's just like, you kind of think of like the games where like it's first person and you're just walking through the dungeon. So you have like forward, backwards, strafing left and right, and then you have to hit the shoulder buttons to turn. And so like you can go in and then you have your attack, you have your attack and your action and stuff like that. And so it's been pretty cool. I'm looking forward to playing that a little bit more. But yeah, it's been an indie kick. That's pretty much what I've been playing. Just pushing to try and help people get, like Jeff. I've been helping Jeff with the platinum in Division 2. Our buddy Marco, I've been helping him get to World Tier 5 so that he can start playing with me and Jeff, and then maybe get him working towards the platinum. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Like my main complaint about the Division 2, so like y'all have heard me talk about Pestilence and the Gunner build and all that stuff, and I like with the character that I'm playing with Marco, I'm trying to do Demolitionist, which is basically a grenade launcher, and then your special talent is a mortar turret, which fires mortars. And so I was like, all right, well, I'm putting the Pestilence in stash because I'm using regular weapons. And I tried to play World Tier 5 challenging with just I had the Honey Badger, and I think I had Safety Distance, which is a SMG. They're both level 515, supposed to tear shit up. And I went to one mission, what is it, White Oak Camp, I think it is, which is supposed to be like Camp David. And they dropped 2 heavies on me, 2 minigun heavies on me, and like 2 purple guys. I got torn to shreds. Like I couldn't do any damage to them. Was throwing mortars, like grenades, everything. Just couldn't do it. I went back to the White House, grabbed the Pestilence, came back out, shredded the fucking mission in like no time. And I'm like, it's kind of like disheartening because it's like you're kind of forcing me into this build. Like I'm trying to get away from being a gunner / Pestilence build, and that's where you're forcing me to go. Not because I know it well, just because I can't get damage any other way, So, anyways,
I had
struggle.
I had a similar problem in a game I've been playing, Moonlighter. But are you finished?
I'm done. So Matt, what have you been playing?
I'm working on the platinum for Moonlighter. I am on the speedrun trophy and the janitor trophy. I am. I finished and got all the trophies for the DLC. I got to the point where I could basically run that entire 10-level dungeon in about half an hour. The DLC weapons, if you're gonna play the Moonlighter DLC, I learned some things this week. And I learned some things because I decided to try and go for the speedrun trophies in New Game Plus. So I took all of the maxed out weapons I got from the DLC into that. They don't work so much because the game scales logarithmically. So I started going for I started building the New Game Plus armors and weapons, and now I'm like super overpowered. But I found myself like, I'm like, okay, so when I went to New Game Plus, I was going to try the big sword and spear build that that we had talked about in the Game Club episode for Moonlighter. I can't do that anymore because I've spent so much time playing with the gloves. I've spent so much time just using the boxing gloves, and
you just know them so well.
That's the only thing I know. It's the only thing I know. So I basically carry those and an arrow for when I just need to step back and kill from distance.
See, like I have the same issue with Pestilence, except the fact that like Pestilence isn't all I know; it's all that works.
Yeah, that's
what I mean. Like it's like all my other weapons don't do nearly as much damage. But go ahead.
Yeah,
sorry.
like the number and very much like what you're talking about. The numbers are in my favor. Like the numbers plainly state this, but clearly like there are other factors that go into it. Either time to swing or the speed of the attack or whatever. But in my New Game Plus run, I am 2 hours in, and I'm to the tech dungeon. So I'm pretty sure I can beat the game in 10 hours.
And that's the trophy, right?
That's the second to last dungeon. So yeah, you beat the game in 10 hours, and then on each of the 4 zone bosses, like the 4 big bosses of each dungeon, you have to finish them off with the broom.
So does the game track your time pretty well, or can you go off your save? No.
Oh, you go off your save.
Yeah.
You go off.
Okay.
You go off your save. I think save to save is when it times. Like I think I had 30 hours in my prior save.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start the game over, you start a new save file, and you can choose whether you want it to be new game plus, or whatever. Interesting thing about how the DLC incorporates into the game. Last week when I talked about playing it, the giant green cave, it appeared for me because I think it was because I was finished with the game. But in New Game Plus, it has not shown up. But you know how when you go into dungeons and you see the twinkling in a room where you can fall into the pit, and there's a secret room down there. There are some that blink green with a green blinking square. So you go down there, and there's that green portal into the Between Dimensions DLC. You get there, you go for a floor, you fight a boss, and you can get a weapon from that dungeon. Now, you can keep that weapon until you go back to town. So if you're in one of the base game dungeons, you keep that until you're finished with that dungeon or you die. Whereas if you're starting from above ground going into the dungeons right away, going to the DLC dungeon right away, whatever you pick up, you keep till you're done with that dungeon or you die. So I found that out, and I thought that was a pretty interesting way for them to incorporate the ideas of the DLC. But yeah, that game's still good. That game's so fun. I'm hoping to have the platinum wrapped up by next week. If I could do that, make a lot more progress in Phantom Doctrine and do my final trophy in Outer Wilds, that'll be 150 platinums for me. But that's all I've got. I know that in our chat, Moose mentioned wanting to go get a beer. So you can go do that, sir. And we will get to the heart of what we were going to talk about today, and that is not E3. And it turns out not E3 decided to vomit a metric fuck ton of video game reveals, trailers, and revisits onto the internet. And while I made what I think is I'll call my own effort valiant, but let's recognize that it's me calling it, so it's probably not that valiant. But I really tried to at least look at everything that was there, and it just got too exhausting. But Jeff, I know you watched the PS5 reveal.
Yep.
And you watched a little bit of IGN's thing. Did you watch anything else?
I don't know if like a lot of the outlets were kind of co-streaming the same thing. There was that when you say IGN thing, because I didn't watch anything on IGN specifically, but I watched
IGN had their own Summer of Gaming thing hosted by Max, Sydney, and Brian.
Okay, no, I didn't watch that. I watched the Guerrilla Collective thing with Greg Miller and some of the auxiliary things that were after that.
Okay.
And yeah, I wasn't like, paying attention to it very close. I was kind of working and having that on in the background. But yeah, I definitely sat down and fully watched the PS5 thing, had my full attention for sure.
Mm-hmm. Moose, I know you watched the PS5 thing. Did you watch anything else?
I didn't have time. I think
Okay.
the PC show was going on Saturday. I was in the mountains with the wife and the dogs. And then I don't even know when what Escapist?
Yeah.
Didn't even know when
Escapist happened Thursday, I think. That was when it went out.
I don't know. I didn't even know that went out on Thursday. Otherwise, I would have watched stuff. So, I mean, I just basically watched PlayStation. I know Matt was talking about games that were also announced at PC show, which are also on console, which is awesome. That's cool. I'm sitting there thinking, like, with all Sony showed, I don't even need to see anything else. You know, I mean, it's nice. It's an added bonus, but I'm like, whoo.
And then Jason, how much did you ingest?
Everything.
Did you watch the wholesome direct?
He is a bachelor.
Jess, we don't mean he's literally a bachelor. If you ever listen to this,
all right. Just I'll cut that. That's why we're not live.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but okay. So you watched everything.
Yes.
So now I know that between all of us, we are the most enthusiastic about the PS5 reveal. So I'm not really going to. We're going to save that for last. And that is probably the only section of my notes that I will go into everything on. With Escapist, what were your highlights?
Well, before that, I figured we'd start with something that wasn't in the show.
Okay.
The Xbox store pulled a Walmart Canada and leaked Star Wars Squadrons, which was then revealed today.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah,
and they confirmed it like 2 days ago, didn't they? And said, tune in, today for the trailer, right?
Shit. That was today? Fuck.
Yeah, don't worry. The trailer didn't it was all...
It looks all right.
But it's all movie. It wasn't any gameplay. I'm almost thinking they weren't prepared, but kind of released it because...
like they snookered themselves, as it were. So Star Wars Squadrons, is that supposed to be like a TIE Fighter X-Wing situation?
Yep.
Or is that... Okay, good. All right,
it's
fine.
October 2nd. It's going to be on PS4, and you could play there's a campaign and a 5v5 multiplayer. They didn't really specify if there's modes, but everything can be played in and out of VR.
Yes, that's what I wanted to hear. Put it in VR, please. Oh, good. All right, cool. All right, then with Escapist.
The other thing I wanted to mention that wasn't, I don't know if it was in a show. I just thought this was cool, and maybe Sony could take note. Xbox's Smart Delivery will also carry saves over when you use it.
Ooh.
So if you're playing on Xbox One and move to the Series X with a game, it will carry your save.
Okay.
Like when you download it, it will automatically load. It wasn't like a download it. Like you could just literally start. I mean, I'm sure it'll be a little more complicated, but I just thought that was a cool feature that they're implementing. So
would that be how cloud saves work now, though?
Maybe.
Yeah, but I think it's literally, so the way the delivery works, it installs the game. I think when it installs, it'll be there.
It'll search for your save file?
Yeah, not like Terraria where you have to like pick the player, download the world.
Okay.
I think it'll be like, say you're at work, like you can pick a game you've been playing on Xbox One and it'll set it up and it'll be ready to go, essentially.
Sexbox is ready to go.
No.
Right,
this
Jason.
is not the Kindred show.
let's talk about Escapist.
You want to go back and forth? I have like 9 highlights.
Okay,
there was 82 games.
Yeah,
so
it was ridiculous. So okay, I'm gonna start just because I'm gonna say that there was a lot of similar themes throughout this show. Like everything seemed to call back some form of either Souls-like or Cyberpunk, and there were plenty of games that looked in the style of the game Ashen, at least graphically.
Which we still need to platinum, you piece of shit.
Hey, get out of DC, motherfucker. I don't know what to tell you.
Hey,
but
you're never on when I'm on.
I'm going to start with the first game of this show because it comes out August 28th everywhere, and they even mentioned Stadia on this one. Windbound.
Stadia is still around?
Apparently.
Okay.
Windbound was my first too. It looks cool, but I have an issue with it.
Okay, well, I mean, I just remember the look Ashen plus Breath of the Wild plus Wind Waker, so like that's kind of my shit.
Yeah, my issue was it didn't just look similar to Breath of the Wild. It looked a little.
It looked plagiaristic, didn't it?
Like plagiaristic to the point. You know, in Breath of the Wild, when you shoot the arrow and you hit the target and it does that little ping and there's like a bright explosion. They kind of had that for like every kill you made, and I was just like, it still looks really cool, and I definitely want to see more of it. The world looks beautiful. Like, it does look cool.
It's got a nice art style to it.
Yeah,
it's going to be hard to not draw comparisons to Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting how that was one of the best games of the past decade. Of course, we're probably going to see a ton of them. Well, let's go. What's your next one?
Wave Break. So basically,
that's not my next one. That's not my next one, but that's my next one after that. But yeah,
Wave Runner. For
dude,
Nintendo 64?
Tony Hawk with fucking boats, yo.
Yeah, remember?
Like,
I was just
that's what this is.
And throw in a little destruction derby.
Yeah.
It's Tony Hawk on a Wave Runner, and you destroy shit.
Yep,
it looked really cool.
So you just mentioned Tony Hawk, and I just want to throw out there, I can't wait for Skatebirds. But did you see the tweet where the guy was like, "If there's not a hawk named Tony in Skatebird, I'm gonna be pissed."
I missed that, but thank you. That makes that gives me a bit of life. But before I talk about my next one, I just want to mention that 3D platformer with SpongeBob in it did not look good. But also the game I want to talk about, Black Book. It's an occultish adventure, possibly turn-based combat. I wasn't completely.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what it was.
It was like
turn-based.
It was third-person perspective, and it looked like the Persona 5 dungeons, which we know I like some Persona, so I'm definitely in for that. It didn't have.
You say that like we know what those are.
I mean,
Us uncivilized swine.
I mean, I can't do all the work for you, Moose.
I know.
But I will just say, in the Persona games, I think in all of them, you essentially attack and dethrone God and fight giant penis monsters. It's totally fine.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
This looks pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, I had picked this one because I thought Captain Canada could chime in, but it does look cool. Stronghold Warlord. It's basically an Age of Empires style.
Yeah.
It's got the economy building, the whole build up your troops, and then basically take over. It looks cool. It definitely looked cool.
It was definitely I don't think it was a 4X strategy, but it definitely had.
Yeah.
Like you start your stronghold and then go fight others. Another quick shout out to Nighthawks. It's a vampire RPG worked on by Richard Corbett, who had a big part in Sunless Skies and Sunless Seas, a game both games that Phillips does like. So I just want to give it a shout.
Was that part card builder, part like adventure, like point and click?
Honestly, probably.
Yeah,
like,
it was.
There was enough. Card builder was another thing that I saw way too much of this weekend. So it very well could have been. I'm going to be 100% transparent. I don't remember.
Next up for me is Ultra Kill. It is a old school FPS, like Duke Nukem style.
Yeah, coming out on itch, which is interesting.
Yeah. No, it's on Steam though. It's going to be on Steam. I actually
early access. Yeah.
I actually got to play about 10 minutes. There's a demo. These events are great for demos, by the way, for anyone listening. Like, Steam always runs, like, a lot of demos for all these games. And another shout-out, I don't know if any of you saw on PlayStation, Project Warlock.
I did see that.
It's another old-school FPS. Do yourself a favor. Go look up the launch trailer. It's the most ridiculous thing you'll ever watch. It's just absurd.
My next one would be I'm actually going to go with The Big Con, mainly because I really like the look of this game. It looked like the Nicktoons Doug and Rocco's Modern Life had like a child, and the protagonist needs $97,368 to save their mom's video store, and they have to basically con people out of money to do it.
You're a child con artist.
I mean, I don't because the nature of this thing, you're only seeing things for 1-2 minutes at a time. Like you kind of have to jot down your impressions and bounce. I feel like there's potential there, and it was definitely different than a lot of what was there.
Next up for me was There Is No Light. It's a top-down. I want to say Diablo beat 'em up.
Okay.
Didn't play. You know how Diablo clones are fast-paced? It felt like it moved more like a beat 'em up, the way the combat was working. So it's interesting, and it's not. It's it looked cool, but like I said, it's top down. It's just. I wonder if it's. I don't know if it's going to be fast enough for my liking. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of this stuff seemed to be not super near release, but also could come out before the end of the year too. There was where is it? Proto Corgi. I like this one. It's basically Gato Roboto, but Life Force, and you're a corgi.
There ain't nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. Exactly.
I knew Moose was like, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. I mean, if Gato Roboto is Metroid, this is Life Force or Gradius, and you're a corgi. And it comes out November of this year on Steam and Switch.
Next up is actually 3 games, but they're all similar. Fallen Angel, Eldest Souls, which I've talked about, and Resolution.
Is that already out?
No, it's like summer.
Resolution is, though. Moose actually showed me.
Yes. That just came out last week.
They remind me of Ida, that game we picked up a couple weeks back.
Yeah.
That style, like Hyper Light Drifter style art, and it's top down.
I feel like Resolution is more like actiony and not as like soulsy. Like I watched the trailer like multiple times, and I'm like, this just seems maybe, and I'm not saying it's not, but it is. It looks more accessible than Hyper Light Drifter. Not that I had a problem with Hyper Light Drifter.
And Elder Souls is a boss rush type game, like Titan Souls. It's not a. Which is what I style, but
which is what I thought Demon Tier Plus was when I bought it. But then I was like, not disappointed. So it doesn't matter that it wasn't.
And then I have 2 more, Jason. I don't know if you have any more after that. I've lost count.
I just have two more.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have, my next one is going to be Scully, which
Mulder?
is, no. It's a literal skull. But it's a 3D puzzler a la Marble Madness. But you can also change Scully into, like, you give him arms and legs to solve puzzles for, like, single use. It comes out in August this year.
Next, very briefly saw, but it's Axiom Verge 2. No date, but
Yeah, nothing.
don't care. Gonna buy it day one anyway.
Yeah.
Supposedly this year. So he could take as much time as he wants.
Yeah.
I have a feeling Nintendo latched on to him with that one, for the sequel, and it's probably going to premiere on Switch and PC first. But I just feel like they were like, we want to show something, and they showed that trailer, and so they definitely didn't have a date on it. So I'm like, dude, whatever. If it's another year or two out, that's fine. We just know it exists. So I knew he was working on a new project per the. So when I bought, what was it, Axiom Verge, the special edition, there's like a interview with him and stuff, and he talks about working on a new game. And I was like, is it Axiom Verge 2 or not? Maybe something completely new. Now it's cool that it's confirmed that it's the sequel.
Yeah.
But I feel like he looks like he's using a lot of the same assets as far as art style goes, so maybe it won't take him that long. I'm not saying don't take long, just polish it. Just give us a polished game, but if he can reuse a lot of his assets that he's already done, that's awesome. But anyway, sorry.
Okay. And then my last one will be Gone Viral. This is it's sort of like a Diablo perspective, but Smash TV, and it incorporates to your stream, where your Twitch fans can fuck with you, and it's a roguelike, so like your runs are always going to be different if you don't have a streaming following, but your streaming audience can mess with you in real time, which I think is cool. And I mean, I know that none of us are Twitch partners, but I feel like of the four of us here, I know Moose has, when he streams, he has a community of people that follow him. He also is, in Richie Tuti's community a lot, and I feel like a good sort of co-op time in those communities would be this. Did not mention they did not mention release date or platform. I would assume it's definitely coming to Steam, but this is the first one of those that has popped to me in a way that I will play it. So
my last one was Scourgebringer. I did a review earlier this year, early access, but it was shown because it's coming to Switch in August.
yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
that
love
wraps.
Switch.
Celeste meets Dead Cells is how they described it.
Yeah, it's what it looks like too. It's exactly what it looks like. And I like Celeste. Jason likes Dead Cells, so we might like a video game. Who knows?
Bitches like multiple video games.
Oh, and you don't?
Don't act like y'all are like some estranged couple that can't agree on a video game.
All right, PC gaming.
I didn't watch this, so you go
Okay,
ahead.
I did. I only have a few of them. Stealth release, Persona 4 and Torchlight 3 are on Steam.
Now, is it Persona 4? Is it Golden?
Golden. It's golden.
Okay. People had questions about why now, and I'm thinking why that is because that's all of Persona 4.
Yeah. I just want to point out Torchlight 3 is early access. And I saw one review, and I'm not going to call the person out because they have a bigger following, and I don't even care, but it's early access. I don't know if you're aware of what early access means, but it's not finished.
Yeah.
So complaining
about it not being finished.
Like Jeff was even saying, Spencer was saying it's multiplayer only right now. They don't have single player offline because I think they're trying to test. They want to gather this data. They want to figure it out. So, and if you've ever purchased an early access game on Steam, There's actually a note. It says they asked, "Why are you in early access?" And there's like a note from the developer exactly what they plan on achieving through early access. It's pretty forward. Like you can see what they want to do, what their plans are. Like so to knock it because it's early access seems just like it's early. Like there's a game 30XX, which is the sequel to 20XX. It's a roguelike Mega Man.
Yeah.
The demo is available, and it actually says very early pre-alpha when you download it.
Wow.
See, it's ridiculous that they even need to like do that. Like, why are people so fucking stupid?
Well,
They showed Humankind. That was that Sega game. That's a strategy game that goes through like the history, like of the world.
Yeah.
It keeps going. Like, Remnant from the Ashes. The final DLC was announced.
What?
2923 comes out August 20th. It's a whole new world.
Don't you dare close your eyes. Fuck. So that's why Phillips was talking about the Remnant thing looking cool. Because I'm like, what did he just?
Yeah, it looks super cool.
No,
Like new enemies, new location, like the whole Mafia Definitive Edition. They showed a trailer. It looks really good. Like I don't think I'll play it, but it definitely looks
Come on.
Mortal Shell, which I think we talked about in our chat a couple days back. They showed that. And the other one, In Sound Mind. It's a psychological horror game that's coming out for PS5. There's a demo on Steam, which I decided to try. Moose will not be playing this.
Cool.
I know why Moose will not be playing this.
Limp.
About 3 minutes and 30 seconds in, I exited the game because I actually jumped out of my seat. I was like, nope, we're done. This is way too scary. And I had all the lights on. It was daytime. And I'm like, no. You awaken in like a warehouse and it's very dark. It's fine. Why is it when you grab the flashlight, then shit starts getting creepy? I literally turn and on the edge of the screen, you see like something sticking, like, I'm like, what the fuck is that? As you get closer, you're like, that's a face. And all of a sudden the game like forces you and like you look down and you look up and it's gone. You're like, no, we're done. It's like seeing the spider in your house. You turn around and it's gone. You're like, fuck. Burn it down.
Burn it to the ground.
Nope, we're moving. Why? Can't find that spider. Don't know where it went.
Nope. It's gone. It's gone forever. It might not even be here. It might have just left town. But we don't know.
He paid his last rent and was leaving.
Yeah. It's probably going to be really cool to play. I mean, horror fans are going to love it. But no, this is... No, not good. Yeah. After PC Gaming was the Future Game Show. I don't know if you caught that at all.
I don't even know what this is.
Okay, I don't really know. I feel the whole thing is a Future Game Show because all these games are in the future.
Yeah, like every game I've watched is like from the future.
Like I understand, like
the only way I could be more in the future is if John Connor is sitting next to me going, I might send a robot back.
Like when Major League Baseball does the All-Star game, then they do the Futures game. Like it's minor leaguers because eventually they'll be in the majors. But all these games are not out anyway. They showed
it's a whole thing.
They showed Quantum Error, which was actually the first PS5 launch game before the PS5 reveal. Like it was actually announced like a couple weeks back. It sounds like, which was the Resistance where you're the firefighter?
The Vita one. It was the Vita.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Burning Skies or whatever.
Yeah, that's what it kind of sounds like. It's like a horror first-person shooter where you're a firefighter, but you realize there's other things in this building.
Can it be a super easy platinum, but good? Because
the other thing
Resistance Vita was not good.
Easy platinum though. Ghost Runner, which is a first-person parkour game. It's really cool. and morbid. I think, Jeff, did you mention this? It's a Children of Morta vibes.
Yes. Yep.
Yes, this looked cool. Had like
But can
I think
Jeff
it's-
read the text?
No.
Huh? 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 I will call back all day long.
Well, that's why he got the regular Switch, so he can dock it and play it on his big boy
That's
TV.
right.
All right, that's all I have. Do you have anything else before?
I mean, I could talk about some stuff. I think the only like I got far enough into the Guerrilla Collective that I saw the Frostpunk board game, and that made me happy.
Wait, board game?
Yeah, Frostpunk
Nice.
board game.
Nice.
The only thing sad about that is I was hoping Awakened Realms would do it like they did This War of Mine, but they're not. But I feel like those games translate to tabletop rather well, so it made me happy. But yeah, like you guys want to just get the PlayStation?
Yep.
Oh, please don't all be so happy at once.
I was just gonna say you were talking about.
I thought the three of you fuckers
It's about
ran
freaking time.
a
This
PlayStation
system.
podcast for more than a year, more than two actually.
A born board game is coming this year.
Yeah, we already know that, Moose.
No, you
but-
mentioned a board game, and I just wanted to talk about
But I have to mention a
it.
board
We
game.
bring it, dude.
Worst case scenario, I bring it to you the day after the Saturday after Thanksgiving. So
That's the worst case scenario. It sounds like the best case scenario. It sounds like the
Well,
best
if it
Black
comes out
Friday
early,
ever.
I might just run it up to your place. I don't know.
All
We'll
right,
see.
let me know. I'll have beer. Okay, so Jason, I'm going to have you mute Jeff and Moose real quick, just because I want to have a heart to heart, and I really don't feel like the peanut gallery.
For those listening, they're just laughing.
And Moose is flipping me off. Jeff is talking, and he might be cursing. I can't. Okay, so Jason, so we're about to talk about the PS5 reveal, and I'm gonna be 100% honest. I feel like a goddamn fourth wheel here. So I feel like since we have Moose and Jeff and you all in one spot, I think I am just going to turn the sunglasses over to you. What do you think about that?
Welcome to Story Route Platinum.
All right. Unmute them so don't forget. Congratulations,
I gotta give you
guys.
Credit. How the hell do you see anything with the glasses on?
You get used to it, especially if a bright light in your face.
Yeah, you get used to it. Yeah. It's the only thing that keeps me looking at the screen, to be 100% honest with you.
There was a PlayStation 5
All right.
reveal.
Take it, Jay.
We finally got to see what the PlayStation 5 looks like. I'm going to start at the end of the show. We got to see the system and
Tarantino
the controller.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which
Um,
is, so I just want to point out, which is weird, because they show the white controller, but like all the commercials for the PlayStation 5 event on Twitch, because a lot of the people I watch, I don't have subs to anymore because I'm trying to cut back and save some money for PS5. Like it's a black controller.
Why do you think I'm not buying all these indie games you talk about?
I know. But anyways, so it's like it's a black controller, so it's like could just show us both. But then I guess because it's whatever. But it was just weird.
Yeah.
To not see one.
What was interesting about the reveal was the two different SKUs. I was not expecting two systems, a disc and discless version. I
feel like a lot of people are going streaming service.
Yeah.
And if it's like $50 to $100 cheaper, a lot of people are going to be like, I'll just buy my copy of that video on the PlayStation Store.
This is
instead of the DVD.
This is one of the things that left questions. I mean, there weren't very many. Like a lot of it was just sort of. It was very positive. There was very little fat in this conference, but seeing a disc and discless system, what does that mean for the aforementioned backwards compatibility that they talked about?
Better own your shit digitally.
They
That's what that
didn't. They
means.
didn't address that, but like, I mean, we could speculate whatever. I just feel like that. I feel like there was a way to go about talking about that, and they did not.
Right. They could say,
But
"Oh,
I
we're
also think
backwards compatible."
I also think it's funny that there was zero backlash for that, because wasn't there backlash when Xbox started talking about discless stuff? Why do I feel like there was?
I don't
Well,
think there
because
was
it was
backlash.
sad.
Okay.
It was sad. It was sad. Oh, it was the
Okay.
Xbox S all digital. Sorry.
But like,
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of like the Switch people bitching about the Switch Lite, when it's like, who needs a Switch Lite? And it's like, what do you fucking care? You have a Switch. Let the people that don't have a Switch spend $100 less and get a Switch Lite. Like, this is for people that don't buy DVDs, don't buy Blu-rays, physical copies. They can save $100 on their PS5 and fucking rock and roll.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's what I feel it is. I don't feel there was. I didn't have backlash when Xbox announced the discless. I was
See,
like,
I
that's
don't.
pretty cool.
And see, like, I didn't either. I'm like, okay, they're doing that. That's fine.
Yeah. What do I fucking care? I'm not a. I don't have an Xbox. I'm not going to buy an Xbox. But that's a better option for people who are like, I want to buy an Xbox. I don't need physical. Oh, hey, this is $100 less. Let me get it. You know.
I think it's more of a why. Like, who asked for this? Like, why do we need this? Not so much. But like, what's funny is now that it's there, I'm like, well, if this is going to be like $50 to $100 cheaper, like, why wouldn't that? Like,
you want to know the why? Because the
why?
disc is going to be $5.99 and the discless is going to be $4.99.
Yeah, I saw that today. I hope that's
why.
not true.
That's the why.
I was hoping for $4 and $5.
The discless is going to put it in the price point that more gamers are going to want, and then a lot of gamers are just going to make that jump. I mean, I've made the jump to being digital a while ago. I have some physical games. In fact, I've got physical games that are, like Grand Theft Auto, Dark Souls 3. If I had to buy them digitally, I could find them on sale for $15 each, and for $30, I'm done with physical, replacing my physical games.
Yeah.
It's just, I agree. It's like, who asked for it, but it's also like people who just want like a cheaper option, and they don't need that disc tray.
Well, we'll have to get our good buddy Todd back on, because I know he's a big fan of GameFly.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Well, with so I feel like, just quickly to go off Matt's, like, why do they not address the backwards compatibility thing? I don't think they're ready to put their full message across, because they're trying to focus on getting those top 100 games working. And I think in doing that, they're trying to unlock how they're going to handle the rest of the games. And so I feel like once they get to that point, which obviously better damn well be before the system launches and people buy in, which I'm expecting it to be, and I'm sure they're expecting it to be, that's when they will announce, like, here's how our backwards compatibility works. I feel I feel it'll be part of the actual reveal of the price tag. Like, they'll just do another quick little state of play and be like, here's the price tag, here's how your backwards compatibility works. And then everybody would just be, either you're in or you're not,
Yeah, I think it's still too early for them to say anything concrete about the backwards compatibility. They're still like, the first announcements were like, oh, there'll be up to 1,000 games or something like that. And now they're saying any game that comes out after July, whatever, has to be, backwards compatible and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I think they would get too many questions. Like, people would be pelting them with, well, is this game going to work? Is this game going to work? And it's like, they don't know yet. It's not going to be all of them, but they have to have a better way to communicate it.
Yeah.
I also think there's still a chance for them to match, in some degree, Xbox's Game Pass with something. Maybe it's
Glad
PS
you brought
Now,
that up.
PS Now rolled into PS Plus or something like that, because they have been, they did make it cost wise at parity, and then
PlayStation Plus Play Pass.
yeah, PlayStation Plus Plus. Um, you got the Plus Plus? I got the Plus Plus.
I got that.
There's a
Plus
sale on
Plus.
Plus Plus. Did you get it? Yeah, I'm good with Plus Plus till 2025.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, they've been adding more, of the older first party games in there too. So we'll see. And that would kind of align with the digital only box, version as well, to have something like that. Now, I can't recall whether or not the Xbox Series X, when it was announced, had a discless version, because I know that was the Xbox One X.
I think
No,
that
I
was
don't think
no,
it
they
was.
didn't. I think that was when they did like a slim situation.
No, it's just the Xbox One
One
S.
X. S or X?
S.
Okay.
Which is
Okay.
just like the
It was the
quote,
sad.
unquote,
It was
slim.
it was the
It was,
sad.
it was the Xbox One S because it was Sans disc drive.
No, because it was like, so they had the Xbox One, then they had the Xbox One S, and then there was a digital version to that, and then they did the Xbox One X.
Yeah.
So-
So I mean, they seem to give it up,
What?
which is kind of weird. And now PlayStation's taking advantage of that. I think it's the right time for it, given the increase in digital sales they've seen. It's a smart move.
I feel like, in all honesty, like I still have a movie collection on DVD.
Yep.
But like, do I watch it? Very rare occasions. Like very, very rare occasions. So like, if it is cost effective for me to just go with the discless version, I'm not gonna have a problem.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole thing. But then you get into the problem, like all the people that are buying physical are always like, what if they take it off the store? Which some games have been removed from the store and you can't play anymore if you don't have a physical copy. And so it's like what, like you get into that thing where it's like, well, you can't play it anymore if they gets removed from the store. And then it's like, but will it matter? Like I could go back to the year 2008 and tell that 2008 version of me that I would rather be streaming music than buy my music. And 2008 would have told me that I was out of my fucking mind. But here I am streaming my music on Google Play Music, you know what I mean? Instead of actually owning it. So it just takes you a little bit to get used to it. And I'd have no problem probably going with the discless,
Right.
They also showed a new camera, headphones, and the media remote,
which all looked really good. They look good.
I'm hopeful. I felt like I read that the VR would work. Like
That's
essentially,
been the. I don't know if that was. I'm pretty sure that was in one of those articles that I read.
No, they told us.
I'm pretty
Right,
sure they
so
confirmed that.
PlayStation-
Like,
so the camera, I'm not concerned with. The headphones, I don't care because it's got the headphone jack. The remote, though, I have the PS4 media remote, which is twice the size of what this thing looks like. Now we use that all the time because it saves my controllers from constantly dying or being spilled on, or like, so that remote, I'm a huge fan of that.
And plus,
probably do.
did you mention the controller charger too?
Oh, yeah.
And there's a
Yeah,
docking
they have
station,
the docking
like a
station, which is nice.
PlayStation official docking station,
Yeah.
which is nice. I have a 2-controller docking station.
Yeah, I
which
have
is
I think
awesome.
I have an Energizer one.
yeah.
Yeah, the one I have, I think, though, was like branded like third party by Sony. So it's like, the Sony approved one, but it's still nice. But that will be awesome to have a docking station.
Before we get to games, do we want to throw shade at the design? Because I really, I really like it.
Listen,
I genuinely like it.
I can honestly say I can't throw shade at the design because I have not seen my PlayStation 4 in about 7 months because of where it's located. So I could care less what this thing looks like.
Right. And then like people, like they first show it standing up. Now where my PS5 will be is where like I have an open area on the left side of my entertainment center. So it's out in the open. It's sitting on 4 former Dasani bottle caps, so it gets air underneath it. And so I have no problem standing up my PS5. I have no problem laying down my PS5. So it's not an issue. I kind of like the design. I don't have a problem with the design because I agree with Jason. Like, I'm not going to be looking at the fucking console being like, that is ugly. I'm going to be looking at the games I'm going to be playing.
Right.
You know?
Also, yeah, even if your PS5 is visible to you at all times, I'm like, ooh, you're going to play Call of Duty? Like, God, this controller is so bad. Like, look at the design of this system. Like, oh, I died. Like, you're not going to be focusing.
You're not going to
like,
care. You're going to be playing freaking Deathloop. Rocking and rolling, like you're not gonna care, you know.
I just saw way too many dumb things. Oh, it looks like a router. Like, yeah, it's routing those games to my TV.
Right, exactly.
I don't really know what you want.
Like what else do you want? Like, hey, at least it's not just a standard like rectangle.
Yeah, I thought it was nice and bold. Whereas, you know, I could just like, I don't like the Xbox design because it is way too blocky. But also, like, I'm not going to look at the Xbox if I ever buy one and play it. So,
like, come on, the PlayStation had better memes. Like the Xbox, the only meme was it's a refrigerator.
yeah,
that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about
we're
games.
missing block out of Tetris, but yeah.
Well, before we do that,
I'm going to call it one thing about the design. So I like the design a lot.
Okay.
I love the fact that it's white. And the other thing that I like about it is more recently people have been calling out when they've zoomed in, they've noticed that certain of the black accents on it actually have the cross, square, triangle, circle,
Oh, nice.
like
that's cool.
embedded in it. It's like textured.
It's like a pattern. It's like a pattern,
and it's on that, and it's on the controller and on the and on the console. So I think that's really cool. And the one thing I'm curious about too is, you know, they want the focus to be on the controller and the accessories and the console itself. So of course, no mention about any new PSVR. But even without the mention of a new PSVR, I'm still super curious about whether or not they were smart enough to build in the PSVR breakout box into the console itself. There are 2 ports on the front of the new console, which you could theoretically, if they did build it in, you could plug the PSVR into. So interesting. I'm still kind of waiting to see how that works. It'd be great to get rid of that breakout box.
I kind of feel like they won't though.
Yeah, it'd be great if they did, but it would certainly show
not for current PSVR owners, maybe for future, like the next version.
Yeah,
you know,
potentially it would definitely solidify their support for PSVR if they did build it in. So.
Yeah, it's a good point, Jeff. It's a very good point.
All right, game time.
Yes.
Game time.
So
Grand Theft Auto 5, partying like it's 2013 all over again.
So they showed, I know none of us are really huge fans, but they did show NBA 2K21, which I think was more of a showcase of what the system like can put out. And I'm not a basketball fan, but that looked damn impressive.
Did you see Twitter took them to task for making it too sweaty?
How dare he?
There's too much sweat.
There's too
I was
much
like,
sweat.
are you freaking
It wasn't just Twitter.
Oh no, I know.
There's too much sweat.
Like, I will say this, of all of the things I watched this weekend, I did watch that one twice. I watched the actual thing by itself, and then I watched Giant Bomb talk all over it because that's what I do. And Giant Bomb had a field day with sweat, and all of it was kind of gold. And I was just waiting for CNC Music Factory, gonna make you sweat till you bleed,
Yeah.
We saw Jet, the Forest Shore, which seemed, I don't really know what
Are
to
you
make
going
of
in
that.
order, Jay?
He's
I'm
not
going
going in
my
order. He's going in his
okay.
order.
All right, fine.
I'm building.
Okay. Jet the
Jet.
Far Shore.
I think that was the one, like he went through time and like stuff like, it was like the beginning of time and he, like, wasn't that the one he was?
And then you leave whatever planet you start on, which I'm assuming Earth. That's the Super Brothers game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That
Which
looked
is-
good. That looked good.
Like, it's interesting. I don't know if they've done anything since Sword and Sorcery,
No, I don't think they have either.
but
so
also
this is
like
pretty much
it's kind of shocking that they need to do anything else because Sword and Sorcery is still, I think, one of the best-selling iPhone games of all time.
Then we saw Goodbye Volcano High.
No,
Dinosaurs in
just
high school. And
keep
not-
going.
The
That's
Dino High School emotional crisis. All y'all
Yeah.
talk about Dino Crisis.
Next.
You're
Now
doing
we're
all-
gonna make it an emotional. I'm on board.
You
Look,
ordered these in the worst to the best, didn't you?
What? No.
I'm going to say this.
That should have been first because that was the worst.
I am glad that a game like this is getting playtime at the reveal of a major console. Not because it's going to set the world on fire, but it's just kind of like a show of like, hey, all of you like the shooty, all of you like the GTA, all of you like the platformers, but this is something else maybe that you have not tried before. And that is, I don't know if I'll buy Goodbye Volcano High, day one. More than likely I won't, but chances are this becomes a sale item or a PS Plus game that people might go back for. I'm interested. I appreciate that they showed a wider variety of things than is typical for a console launch. That's my
Then
rating.
we saw, well, in my mind, I shuffled it. Solar Ash, which is that Hyperlight Drifter.
The
type
next
game?
Hyperlight, that's from the guys that did Hyperlight Drifter.
Yeah, that looked cool. That looked really
It's Heart
cool.
Machine. That looked really fucking cool.
Really
Journey, Jet Set Radio, and atmosphere like that. Okay, I'm in.
We saw more of Godfall, and I still have no idea what's going on, really.
Recently, they announced the remaster of Kingdoms of Amalur: Reckoning,
Yes.
and I feel like this looks like that.
Okay. I could see that.
But Gearbox or Gearbox Publishing, and I still don't know what the fuck I call it.
I'm not really. I know it's a looter slasher,
slasher.
but I'm not really sure of the point. Like, I don't know how it. I can't make heads or tails of what you do. Like, it almost looks like.
You slash and you loot.
No, I feel like it's like Smite. It feels like there's lanes. It's like that MOBA feel. It didn't show like. I don't know. I really have no.
I think we've seen this. I know we've seen it at least 2 times.
Two
I don't
Game
know if we've seen
Awards
it
and
there.
then this.
Yeah, and they've not had enough. It's not been enough time spent with it to say, hey, this is what you do.
Next up was Pragmata from Capcom. I don't really know what it is. We didn't really see anything. It just kind of teased something, which was weird.
Astronaut walks down Times Square.
I was gonna say, wasn't that okay.
Hologram cat?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Kojima. I don't know what that game is.
Ghostwire Tokyo, which we first saw during
E3.
Bethesda's E3 from
Yeah.
TangleWorks. Apparently now it's I don't know if it's timed exclusive or just an exclusive because it wasn't announced as either.
Yeah. It wasn't.
But my thoughts on this, and I mentioned it to you guys, the viewpoint makes it look like a bad VR game because it's not a VR game.
No.
And it did not impress at all.
No, like the new game, like we just saw like concept videos,
Mhm.
and like trailers, and now we saw gameplay, and I agree with you, it did not impress.
Like the concept seemed like it was like it still is like a supernatural, and you're clear, like you're your job is to get rid of these supernatural entities. But the way it looked like, when we were in our chat, because we watched it live, like TB was saying, like it's the same motion. So like it was just different scenes, but it seemed like it was the same hand motions to like clear the level, and it just seemed, I don't know.
It seemed like an early level VR game, like an early development VR game. Yeah.
I found myself not being like super negative on it, but also not being not like anti-hopeful, but like I will watch that game to see what it is.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you, man. I wasn't super negative on it, but I just took note that it, like, when Jason was like, it looks like a VR game, I was like, oh, it kind of does, even if it's not a VR game. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens when there's more of like a gameplay trailer.
HoloLens. You never know.
Yeah.
Then we got Project Athia from Square Enix.
Gary Whitta is leading up the writing on this, I think.
Which that game that's still the development name.
Yeah, like
when you go to PlayStation blog, it still says development name.
Yeah, of all the things, I think this is the one where Moose from last week could be the most angry about, because it's like, I don't know when this is fucking coming. PlayStation, Jesus.
I thought at first it was, is it Square working with Platinum on a game? I thought that's what this was going to be. What's that game? They're coming out with a game. They showed it at, was it State of Play, maybe? Or, I forgot what it was.
Square and I mean, I know they have a release.
No, he's right. Yeah.
They did Nier Automata. But like,
no, they're doing another one.
They're doing a game, and I thought this was what it was at first, but we've already mentioned it, but Grand Theft Auto 5 will be on PS5. Enhanced and expanded. So they weren't clear about it, but it makes it seem like they're adding to the single player in some fashion.
It's called Babylon's Fall.
That's what it was. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's okay. So GTA 5 is now going to be on a third console generation, and as we mentioned,
could you blame them? It's been in the top 5 selling since
have
the
you seen
PlayStation
the MPD?
4 came out.
No, I don't blame them. But we mentioned before, if you log in every month between now and the release, you get $1 million in GTA Online cash.
Mm-hmm.
First NPD numbers after PlayStation 5 launches, GTA #1 with a bullet. Just saying.
Also, on a side note, just a little speculation thrown out there. TV was in our party. We were watching. He's like, "Is that new story mode stuff?"
I feel
like as soon as he said it, I was like, you know what? I don't remember that being in the actual game, because they weren't really showing, when they were showing their like video of GTA, it wasn't online included. It was just the story mode stuff. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I don't remember seeing any of some of that. Like, there were sections of it where I'm like, I don't remember seeing any of that in the original game. So maybe this is where they answer people with like, where's the story DLC for, Grand Theft Auto 5? Here it is, in the PS5 version. So
now prepare for cuteness overload. Bug snacks from the Octodad creator.
Dude, that game looks cool.
That game looks fucking weird, and I am all sorts of into it.
Like, it was weird, and we're watching it, and then Moose goes, "Is that a rack of ribs crawling on the ground?"
Yes,
as a caterpillar. And I was like, okay, I'm down. Down.
There were burger-shaped beetles.
Yes. Yes.
There was a hoagie centipede.
Yeah, that looked pretty cool.
There were 4 or 5 trailers from this that I showed my wife, and she was into. This was like, she's like, if there's co-op in that, we're playing that together.
There you go, my man.
I'm
there
like,
you go.
Fuck yes, we are.
We didn't go ahead, Jeff.
So first of all, when they first said it, they announced the name of the game. I swore they said butt snacks. And I was like, what is this? And
Cheers, Jeff.
And then I watched the trailer again tonight. And in between the time that the PS5 event came in tonight, I learned that and now I'm struggling to remember her name. The fourth host of What's Good Games that left. Do you guys remember her name?
Alexa Ray.
Alexa Ray.
Like, yeah.
I think she said on Twitter that she actually was a co-writer on that game.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is awesome. Yeah. And then I was watching it tonight, and I'm like, I'm interested because it's unique, and I think it'll scratch that itch for just a unique experience. But I'm scared that this will be the PlayStation 5's knack.
Oh, you think Sony will push it like PlayStation 5's knack?
No, I just think it looks like it has potential, but it's going to fizzle out like knack.
Yeah, that's a good stance to take on it. I never played, what was it, Octodad? Never played it. I think I own it. I don't know. I probably do. But I could see what you're saying, where it's like it's supposed to be really cool, but it just kind of fizzles out. Because like you play it for like 5-10 minutes and you're like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing to this.
So Matt, you missed what I said there.
Butt snack, got it.
Yeah.
But
no, I think it's got some interesting aspects to it, and I think the gameplay could be fun. We need to know more about it. But I feel like this could be the PlayStation's 5's knack. That it's a game that like looks kind of cool on the surface, but then just completely fizzles out.
See, the thing is, knack didn't look cool.
No, I think the concept was cool because it's like it basically was kind of trying to show off the power of the PS4 with all the pieces that knack would fly into and scatter around and come back together and all that stuff.
Yeah, and I think they showed off the power this time with prior IPs that are getting
yeah for sure. But
launches here, but like with this was very much like Goodbye Volcano High for me, where it's Sony leaning into some weird out there stuff. Because like I like when I was watching the Giant Bomb thing, because they said the same thing that I said. They're like, is this fucking Viva Pinata on Sony? Like, but then like that strawberry just starts making noise, and then Steve Irwin the seal, picks it up and eats it, and then grows a strawberry, and then just all of a sudden this is like
I feel like I like that they took that approach. I like that they put that out there, because it's not like Microsoft coming out here going, here's more Halo, here's more Gears, get fucking excited. Like, no, you're boring. Like, it's the same shit over and over and over again. And I know they're going to rectify that by buying all the indie developers, and Hellblade, 2 is going to be on Xbox, which is great. I'm excited for them finally seeing the light and saying we actually need to have games other than fucking shitty ass Halo and Gears. But like, I feel like Sony is the place where you're like, this is weird enough to where, like Jeff was saying, like the gameplay is going to be cool and going to be crazy and it's going to be new and it's going to be a different gaming experience. And it's not the same, So I feel like Sony just keeps pushing, pushing to have developers and publishers bring their games to their console, where it's like, here's a different experience. You know what I mean? So
I mean, and like, I really don't. And getting back to the net comparison, Octodad is a special type of experience when you play that game, and this is the follow-up to that. It's from Young Horses. So I feel like, at the very least, if this isn't something that like sets the world alight, it'll probably be one of those consistently interesting experiences throughout, or at least consistent to the point where Octodad was, where at the end it just got ridiculously hard for seemingly no reason. So let's hope they can just sort of
even that gameplay out.
Stick the landing on this one, yeah.
And speaking of knack showing off what the PS4 can do, that is the purpose of the next game, Astro's Playroom. I don't know if this was clear, but Astro's Playroom is preloaded on all PS5s.
Yep.
Yeah,
Nice.
So at the end of the
It's
trailer.
designed to show off the DualSense controller.
Yep.
So
Nice.
it's going to make use of the haptic, the feedback. Like, I think it's going to like take you through to show you pretty much what the PS5 can do.
If you have a
Why should people
VR,
know that game?
if you have
Jason?
a PSVR and you've not played Astrobot, what are you fucking doing? Just saying.
Never mind. Matt just said it.
Because
Because it's PlayStation VR
It
game.
did look cool, even if it's just like a tech, like a larger tech demo.
Maybe if it's like an hour or 2 hours long.
It looked
so-
cool.
yeah.
It did look really cool.
Mhm.
And we get to see the return of a certain PlayStation character. Sackboy's back.
You know, seeing this, I completely passed by Little Big Planet 3. I like Little Big Planet 2. That was one of the reasons I bought a PlayStation 3. And I did not play the Vita version, but I was genuinely excited to see Sackboy again.
See, so like you say that, and I'm actually excited to see Sackboy too, but I'm kind of like Astrobot and Sackboy are now kind of like, it looks like they showed them back to back, and I was like,
It's going to set up the next PlayStation All-Stars, Moose. That's what
right,
they're doing.
right. Hey,
That's what
if
they're
they
doing.
do that, I'm down. But like,
they're going to pit
you're looking
Sackboy
at
and
it.
Astrobot in the field of physical one-on-one combat.
Like you're looking at it and you're like, man, these are two which
Extremely
look like
adorable. Let's have them
similar
fight.
games. It's just like, but I kind of want to buy both.
I will
That's
say
my
this.
That's the board meeting. Everyone loves these. They're so adorable. What do we do next? Have them fight.
One must die. No, I think this time out, this is Sumo Digital. It's not Media Molecule. I think they have to nix the creation shit.
You know what? I agree and just have
Yeah.
it be its own thing and no
like
creation.
This is Sackboy's Big Adventure. It's a platforming thing. There's do a little more instead of like doing all the creation trophies. Do a bunch of like platformy endurance.
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, and to be honest,
they
like
can't do the creation suite. And then Media Molecule did that with Dreams. I don't know very much about Sumo Digital, but they're not going to do Dreams.
I think Dreams is definitely going to be one of the ones that are backwards compatible.
yeah.
I did think it was
so-
interesting that it said propelled by Dreams at the beginning of this. Just want to say.
Yeah. But anyway,
And to be honest, like it did look fun, but like if it's a creation thing, I'm out. I'm not even.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even. That's just not for me. Like, but if it's a platformer, definitely I'd be in. Like that's.
I mean, the
just-
Little Big Planet, the Little Big Planet games suffer their platformer because they were a campaign and a creation suite. You had to unlock stuff. The more bubbles you popped in the campaign, the more you unlocked in the creation suite. The platforming, it was sound. It was also floaty. And there were also some, I'm trying to remember, 8 years ago now. But there were also some the precision was not what you expect. Now, if Sumo Digital can fix all that and not be saddled with we have to create a robust creation suite, I'm all in.
Mhm.
And like I said, very happy to see Sackboy again. It's something like I have a Sackboy plushie, and Reba asked me about it when I moved here. She's like, "What's this?" I go, "It's Sackboy." She's like, "What's Sackboy?" And I'm like, "You know what it is." She's like, "Oh, a character in a video game." I'm like, "Yes." "What video game?" I'm like, "I don't want to go there because it's a long story, but it's something that at the time means a lot to me, and still means a lot to me because I still kept the plushie. But I was genuinely happy to see Sackboy. We should move on.
I feel this
Unless
is like
unless Jeff has something to say, because I feel like he's not.
Don't really care
feels-
about Sackboy.
Okay.
Yeah,
What the fuck, Jeff?
every PlayStation system needs a Gran Turismo, so we're getting Gran Turismo 7.
You know what? I almost thought about getting in this time. Not gonna lie, I'm like, man, maybe I should try it.
This looked, even if you're
It
not a
looked
fan,
real good.
this really pushed. I'm sure this pushes the PlayStation 5 as far as what developers know it can do. This looked good.
Yeah,
Like, real good.
It does look good. I was even excited about it, and I don't really do.
I'm
racing
excited.
games.
There's a full campaign mode because that was one of the things when I got into Gran Turismo, it was 3 A spec, and that was PS3, so there was no multiplayer like online really. So that like a full campaign is awesome.
You remember when Drive Club was revealed?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh so long ago, and you had that man just basically just getting really inappropriate with his love affair of cars. All those thoughts ran through my head watching this. I'm like, man, the cars were nice. Like,
Sexy.
Look at the sun just reflecting off. I'll bet you that leather is real comfortable. I'm just like,
While these cars looked absolutely gorgeous,
fucking
let's
stunning.
destroy cars in Destruction All Stars.
This was an interesting reveal, as in like
Overwatch
like,
meets Rocket League meets Twisted
yeah,
Metal.
like what is going on?
I'm
With
first looking, I'm like, is this like a new Rocket League? And then I thought it was like, because they kept showing the name of the arena. It's like Lucid something. Like, is this the title? Like, what is? And then like you see like the character like introduction scenes, and it's like, what is going? It's like we got a little Twisted Metal meets Rocket League Overwatch hybrid.
And I feel like this is one of those things where they're going to try and get that lightning to strike. And I don't think it'll be an out and out success. It'll either be moderate or it will fail miserably.
Yeah, I think it looks fun. I mean, I like you said, Jason, you hit on it twice, or two titles. I think it's Twisted Metal meets Fortnite, and it'll fill that Twisted Metal slot for a lot of people that are clamoring to try to get that franchise back on the platform.
Yeah, we'll see where we go. How about Matt? I know Matt's super excited about this one. Agent 47.
Hang on.
Hitman 3.
I need to go to my notes. And I say, and I quote, Hitman 3, January 2021. And then in capital letters, fuck. That's and for those keeping score, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 U's.
Okay, that's a lot of U's. Someone's excited.
It's obviously everything. Oh, pretty much everything looks great. But this, I think, what this was like. Is it not the episodic? Is this like a full, like a regular story?
I don't know.
Like that's what it made it seem like. Like it's more.
Hitman 2 isn't really episodic either, and it's a story.
True. But this seemed more like not a go to location, replay it 50 times, go to new location. This seemed like more of a, like you're on the run, it seems like.
Well, I don't want to.
Because they kept showcasing that one other character.
Well, the other character is in
Agent
2. He's in 2.
Oh, he is? Okay.
Yeah. In fact, the other character other than 47 that you see talking, he's in 2, and then the woman that they spent a pretty decent time on in a single shot of her face, she's 47's handler, if I remember
That was
correctly.
Diana?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And 2, and like at the very end of 2, you basically see a weird betrayal triangle between the 3 of these characters. Okay. And I think I think that if 3 leans into resolving this, however it may, that'll be cool. Also, I'm kind of interested in how they do it in Dubai. Now,
Do it in Jersey.
immediately I thought of maybe they're just going to use that gigantic skyscraper as the game. I don't know how well that could play, but I would imagine that there's in a single piece of human architecture that huge, there might be a way to do it. But also, I feel like that'll probably be either the first or second mission, so it's like a hallmark for you to. It might be like Miami too.
Here's a off-the-wall prediction, and it's more just to see if I can annoy Jeff.
Mhm.
Hitman 1 and 2 become playable if you own them in Hitman 3 engine. No, I
That
don't.
would be a hell of a
To
perk, wouldn't it?
quote Krieger from the show represented by Jason's T-shirt, "Stop! My penis can only get so erect."
Right. I mean, that would not surprise me if that was a like pre-order bonus or there was a season pass edition that included that. You know, like
Guess
that
who
would
would
be.
do it?
You know,
Now we got two really, really interesting indies. First up, Little Devil Inside.
ooh,
Yeah,
Yes.
this
pumped
game,
about that. Looks
this
great.
game looked cool.
Well, when me and Moose and TB were watching, I said, this is like a Tim Burton adventure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tim Burton and Henry Selick got back together and made a video.
And then I don't know if it was it you, Moose, who said it's like, but it's the opposite. The kid's out hunting and the dad or the uncle's just chilling at home, taking a bath.
Yeah.
And a
Also,
dump.
yes, how great is he's clearly taking a dump because the sound effect matched the
So do you think that's the dad? Because I was under the impression that it could be the same guy, and it's just like he's young and out in his adventurous days, and now he's old and washed up and like can't do anything anymore, so he's hanging out.
So like that's a good take on it, Jeff. My take on it was like
Up the
the
video.
the young guy's adventures actually take place inside the old man's body.
Little Devil Inside.
Oh, he's Don Quixote.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like-
that's cool.
Like, because like when he was like falling and the man was sitting on the
Yep.
toilet, like it was happening at the same time, kind of like signaling, like, you know, like, yeah. So that's what I'm thinking.
Right.
So I don't know.
Either way.
I just want
definitely.
to interject and say, like, I'm glad I didn't really get involved in our chat this weekend because I'm like having a lot more fun now talking about it,
Yeah.
and I actually feel like I'm becoming human again. So thank you all.
You're welcome.
I just feel
in our
like,
live look, if we had recorded it, there was a lot of schoolgirl screams and there's a lot of
yeah, there were. We were very happy.
Everybody
about
was
that.
in Animal Crossing just doing the clapping.
Yeah.
there was a few moments of what and then silence and it's like the other game was Kenna Bridge of Spirits.
This game looks
Yep.
cool. I
Looks
want
great.
one of those things. I want one of those little plushy things. Just saying.
I
Make
saw
it
a magic
happen.
bow and arrow. I was like, I'm in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like very much like The Escapist had a lot of sort of signposts that ran through most of the show. Like this was like, lots of Pixar happening here. Yeah, Kino looks dope as fuck.
This one, I mean, it looks cool for all of us, but specifically Moose because it's Housemark Returnal.
Yeah.
What a terrible name!
Eh, I like it.
No,
a
it's
good name.
bad. It's
Your
bad.
mom's bad.
That's true. And I could go into some. I could go on a rant about that because man, she said some things lately. But that name.
Did we really get to episode 25 before we had a your mom joke?
That wasn't a your mom joke. That was a your mom truth. But no, Returnal. It's a bad name, but motherfucker, like it looked like Housemarque is trying to make an Outer Wilds and or Prey game, so I'm in.
with like
Yeah,
a live die repeat.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Kind of
Groundhog Day,
pres-
but Live
yeah.
Die
And they
Repeat might be
make
more
they
appropriate.
make good looking lasers, don't they?
Yeah, dude, they're
They make some
So-
good ass lasers.
so we still haven't seen. I haven't seen a lot on Storm Divers. Their other games.
They put it on the back burner for now.
So this is the second game that they've announced since they decided to retire the old school shooter because it doesn't make them a lot of money and they want to go out and do something new. And like this looks awesome. Like it's got a great premise. The world's changing every time you come back to it, and you go out, you do what you're doing, you die, and then it changes again. And so it seems to be obviously procedurally generated. The antagonist looks cool, got a good look to her. Seems like there's some
Eyeball
emotional
changes. What does that mean?
baggage
What does
there.
that mean? Her eyeball changes. What does that mean?
So I think like, and I said it in our chat, in our PSN chat we were watching, I'm like, if anybody could take shooting and like translate it to like third person, it would be Housemarque. Because like everybody's like Respawn did Titanfall 2, and then they did Jedi Fallen Order, and it was like, wow, like they can do this game, you know what I mean? And I feel like Housemarque can do a third person shooter like this really well. And like you were saying, Matt, like they make lasers look really fucking cool. So yeah, I'm excited for this one.
The next one, Matt's buying just based on who's making it. Annapurna is coming out with Stray.
Fuck yes. I don't like cats, but this game is cheating in the way that it got me. I'm like, wow, all these robots are doing some stuff. Wait a minute. Do we play as the cat?
That's what I was thinking.
You probably do.
And then why is it they're showing a lot of this cat, and then all of a sudden the last little scene of it, the cat goes up, sits, and meows. Like, fuck! It just melted my heart. Day one. I love Annapurna so much. They publish fucking good games, and I want to play as a cat in a robot world.
All right, time for the heavy hitters.
All right, here we go.
Wait, there are heavier hitters than Bug Snacks?
Well, yeah.
First up, it was interesting that it was during the PS5 reveal, but this was kind of spoiled. Resident Evil Village. Resident Evil 8.
Okay. Now
Get cracking at Resident Evil 7, Jeff.
Okay.
And
So
two.
Jason, Jeff, I need to have a
Speak for me.
conversation. I have a conversation with Moose real quick. For some reason, when they were intersplicing that guy with the hat on and the beard, I kept thinking it was the young Father Gascoigne.
Yeah, it does.
And
Yes.
I was like, no, are they doing this? Then I saw the werewolf. I'm like, are they doing this? And then you see the 8. I'm like, oh, good, they didn't do this yet.
Yeah, not yet. Especially to steal another game's thunder, but yes.
Right, but I was like,
Yeah.
no, and because of what we talked about last week.
So this game clearly focuses around, was it Chris Redfield, or I think?
Yeah,
Chris
Chris
Redfield's
Redfield's the guy that
back and
shoots
then-
he's the guy that shoots the down lady at the end, right?
yeah, it's Chris Redfield.
They say like Chris, but we have no idea where, when, any of that.
How? Why?
Who, what, where, when, why, how.
I mean, yeah, you can cover it all. It's just, well, we know the
Werewolves.
Who. We know the
That's
who.
it. Werewolves.
Werewolves.
Yeah, there we go.
Werewolves.
Chris Redfield's a werewolf.
Run with that. Okay.
I will.
I'm gonna start tweeting that. But anyways.
Hey, you know what? For like the 3 listeners we have, I said it first. Chris Redfield's a werewolf. Story Route 0 episode. I don't know what we're on because I had more than one beer. But
Fighting zombies.
I said it. You're welcome, internet.
You know what we said last week, and this is the only prediction I think we actually got. Blue Point's making Demon Souls, and that looked phenomenal.
Okay,
Wow.
so
I saw
so-
that. I didn't. Hold on. Let me just, because you could take this, because I have
got
very
some
little
shit to
experience.
say.
I have very little to say. I don't think I played. I didn't play Demon Souls. I looked at the comparison screens. Wow. I mean, blown away. Like they
Bruh.
showed like approaching the castle, like in the two games. Like it's like unbelievable, the difference. Like this is not just a straight up like, oh, let's just compare like side by, like these look. I think they look like two different games. It's not just like, oh, I recognize this. Like it's unbelievable what they did.
Moose, Jeff, anything to say?
I didn't go back and look at what the PS3 version of Demon Souls looks like. I was super excited for Moose. This won't be on my list, really.
Well,
I'll backpack you, motherfucker.
Okay, so if it makes you feel any better, Jeff, this is one of the Souls games where everything can be co-opted. There's no real like Titanite demon that you have to fight yourself, or in Bloodborne there's no like 3 hunters you have to fight yourself. Like this one can be co-opted.
Yep.
More so than any Dark Souls game, I think. But so if it does happen, if it does end up in your library, like hopefully I will be in a situation where I can help you. So
All right.
I will try if you are willing. Moose, do you have anything to say here? Other than you're buying it day one.
So we haven't. Yes. Buying it day one, getting the console. Like all I need is a release date for Demon's Soul. I actually charged my PlayStation 3 controller to maybe play the old version because I'd kind of like to have a comparison between the two. I've played maybe like an hour or two of the PS3 version, so maybe dive in a little bit more and see how much further I can get. Maybe I can beat it before the game launches. Might be a summer goal. We'll see, but I mean, all signs were pointing to that's what Blue Point was doing, and it's not really a surprise because their last 3-4 major games were remasters of Sony's games. So, and this is a Sony IP. So I feel confident because they knocked it out of the park with Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah.
Did a great job with the Nathan Drake collection.
Yeah.
Gravity Rush was great. And they really, I feel like they really kicked off their, not remastering, but they really kicked off like their development career with the port of Titanfall on 360. They did the port of Titanfall on 360. So like, and that game, if you go back and look at it and read the reviews, like it freaking knocked it out of the park for somebody who wasn't Respawn doing it, you know? So
I feel like they've done they did other things too, because I remember them with other things and I can't.
I think they did like mainly DLC or helped with multiplayer and stuff like that before they took on like a full like port of a game, which was, I think their first full game was Titanfall for 360. But anyways, they've done great work. The good thing about it is they take the game and they put it in their own engine and make the game work in their own engine. And so I'm excited to see what they do with it. And obviously I'm excited to play it. I'm excited to play it with you. Jason seems to be excited about it. So him and I had a great time with Bloodborne. And if he gets it, I feel like Jeff is going to jump in and playing it with him. We played Bloodborne and had a good time. I feel it's just going to be a good time overall, like it's going to be a great experience and having that community get together. Although I thought it was funny, Jason was saying there were like tweets out there that are like, this is a ripoff of like Dark Souls. And it's like, come on. Come on,
Yeah,
guys.
Twitter was like, they ripped off Dark Souls. It's like,
Wait,
It's like,
did they?
like, first of all, it's the same director, and second of all, it's his first game before Dark Souls, you jackass. But anyways, yeah, I'm extremely excited for it. I can't wait. If it's like, hey, the PS5 comes out on November 12th and Dark Demon Souls comes out on November 12th, I'm buying both day one. So that's
you
really
should just
all
get
I'm.
Demon Souls. Forget the system.
Yeah. Just buy it and buy the system a year later. But anyways.
But okay, so now I'm going to go on my rant. So I naturally,
And we're out of time.
naturally, I saw this trailer, and you stop the recording. This is the story I was here. Blah blah blah. I'm just going to keep talking into it because I need to get this out of me. Naturally, when I saw this trailer, I'm like, I knew what it was the minute you saw the Hanging
On the like eagle or whatever it is.
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
minute I saw that, I'm like, it's Demon Souls. It's the opening. That's the opening to Demon Souls. That's what happens when you boot up the game. But I felt like there were some things different about it, and and I went to several individuals. So one of them I can talk to directly, and the others I just sort of looked. I was just sort of waiting for their reactions. But my buddy Ahmed and I had plenty of conversations, and he's like, that snowy area, that's not there in the original. I'm like, okay, I'm glad I'm not crazy, because
Well, you are, just not in regards
right,
to that
sure,
level.
different crazy. But I'm like, wait a minute, that's not there. So I'm hard pressed to not get excited, but they might have actually done some work to finish the stone that's not complete in the original Demon Souls. If they do that, that will make me very happy. And I don't know if that area would be fun, good, bad, whatever. But the fact that someone gave them notes and said, this is what we wanted, go with it. I'm very, the fact that they show that leads to that conclusion. I do agree with Vati Vidya on YouTube with the main knight you see, like there's something wrong with him. He doesn't look great. I don't want to say they massacred my boy like he did, but I feel like they're giving the knight outfit like some problems, and it made me sad. However, the giant knight you see drop his giant shield. That is one of the best boss fights in that game. That is the Tower Knight, and as someone who fought him a number of times with a number of victories, it was so nice to see the change in shine on his armor. Like, it looked rusted. It looked like he had been there a while. It looked like he had been, it looked more, the environment looked more lived in. And you see like vines going up the arena, and you see everything's out of focus because you're focused on him. But you see like all of the other enemies that happen in that arena. And while in the game space specifically, nostalgia can be a very, very tremendous albatross around one's neck, I found myself more ready than ever to revisit not only my favorite Souls, but one of my favorite games of all time. It's like in my top 10 list. And I cannot wait when I saw because I think in the running order of the show, which Jason is not adhering to in a very frustrating manner, when I saw Hitman 3, I think that was the point where I checked in with our Facebook chat and said, well, I guess I need a PS5 by January 2021. 3 comes out. And then you had 1, 2, 3, and the fourth game was Demon Souls with no date. I'm like, well, if that's a launch title, like we have said, and I'm hoping we've willed that reality into existence, Moose. Thank you so much for propagating it. I might be at a PS5 game.
Well, I feel, we've had this reveal, and I think there's still something to come, and I think it's going to be something in the late, we're in June,
August,
July, August, to say, okay, here's the price, here's the titles that are launching day one. I feel like that's safe to say, we will get another announcement following what we've already had, but confirming what will definitely be available to the consumer day one. Yeah. So.
Yeah. But before we waste any more time, Jason, go to the next one.
I know what I'm buying day one. Deathloop.
Fuck yes, you are.
Hell
Now
yeah.
that's a game Jeff was excited about.
Jeff was super excited. We'll spare you the details of our chat, but he was very, very, very
Deathloop looks
excited.
fucking cool, man.
Yeah.
This looked cool at E3, but we had it looked like it almost looked like it was a PvP game. It's a
it looked more 1v1.
Yeah, we had no idea.
Yeah.
But now we know it's you play an assassin, there's an assassin hunting you, but you're going through these levels. I guess she's she's constantly hunting you the whole time, and it just looked the art style, it had that, it gave off a cool vibe.
It's like a nonstop party in Fort Frolic on BioShock.
Okay.
And on, on top of that, you had all of those. It looked all of those old movie posters coming alive. Fuck, this game looks good.
Just my time to shine.
Go ahead, Jeff. Go.
No, I have to find it in my list because we're not going in order. But
Jason, am I right?
That's because nobody talks to anybody.
What?
I wasn't going to tell you that anyway.
No, I mean, obviously, it's Arcane Studios, so it's got Dishonored, BioShock, and We Happy Few mashed up together. I think it's going to be cool. It's going to be really cool. The only thing, of course, I'm nervous about is the whole roguelike type aspect potentially of it.
I don't think this is that. I think it's more time loop than roguelike. So I think you might be okay.
I think it's less punishing. It looks like it's going to be less punishing. So,
and also I didn't get the impression that each time you die, the world is exactly the same. Maybe it shuffles around and it's got some level of randomness to it. Procedurally generated. Yeah.
This is we didn't get a date, but this game's day one.
So this was really interesting. So at E3 they showed it. Okay, didn't really say consoles. They showed it here at PS5. I don't remember seeing the exclusive.
I read it's a timed exclusive.
Yeah, people.
Well, that's the thing. I caught a reply that Matt on Twitter said to another person who was like, "I hope this comes to Xbox," and he was like, "I'm sure it will." And I was like, "But I thought it was on all next gen consoles." And then I went to their site, and it's like, "Nope, it's PS5 and PC at launch."
Yeah, I forgot but I think it's a timed. It will go to Xbox,
which I'm sure it will after a year or two.
I don't even think it'll be a year, but I think Arcane is pretty multi-platform. They don't really do consoles.
Yeah, I was gonna say Bethesda is rare to be console exclusive.
I honestly think inside of it'll probably be a 6-month exclusive.
I would guess 6 months.
This
is definitely a day one. If it turns out to be a launch title, I'm gonna have a PS5 on launch day then.
Yeah.
So I feel it's probably gonna be along the lines of is there DLC? If there's DLC, then can they pump it out in enough, in a timely manner to where 6 months to a year after, you know, the game comes out, they can include a DLC package for full price for Xbox. You know what I'm saying? Whereas in like PS5, people have already bought the DLC. Okay, well, we'll include the DLC and the game for $60 on Xbox. You just get it a year later, you know? So I feel like that'll probably be their time frame.
This
Yeah,
next
it's
title
dope,
is
though.
a launch window-ish. I don't know. It's a weird hybrid of it's Uncharted, Spider-Man Legacy. We're getting Spider-Man Miles Morales, which
Yeah.
it turns out it is like Uncharted Lost Legacy. It is a standalone game, but it's
It's not full blown.
but it's in the Spider-Man game in a sense, but it's not.
Yeah, like
This was the one hiccup they had.
Their messaging was
They didn't have
horrible
the
on
hiccup
this.
during the show.
Yeah,
The
it was
reveal was
after.
fine, but it was after when they had to clarify. Insomniac said it's not a full remaster of Spider-Man, which kind of makes sense because how much could you possibly like? They're not going to remaster. The game's not even it's barely 2 years old.
Like, you know, that's one of the 100 games that's
Mhm.
backwards compatible. You know, you'll be able to load up
Yeah.
Spider-Man on your PS5 and it'll load faster and run better. But like, this
Yeah,
was
it's like
weird because
Spider-Man, God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, Bloodborne, and
yeah,
what
like
else could be the top 5?
probably MLB
Uncharted
The
4.
Show 20
Uncharted
when it comes
4,
out
the
next,
show,
you know,
MLB.
yeah,
Well,
this
MLB
year
might,
will be.
yeah, MLB probably will be.
But I
yeah,
feel like
so this looked cool. I mean, there's all new enemies. I'm excited for this.
I liked Miles Morales' story in the Spider-Man game.
Mhm.
I'm going to be the one to say that maybe not bring the same Spider-Man story into Miles Morales.
yeah, like something new, you know.
Because, well, Peter Parker's relationship with the cops and I feel like if there's a potential to make Miles Morales the same kind of buddy the way Peter Parker was, it's a bad look in 2020. And that's more me speaking on just sort of the world around us. And I'm not going to go any further, but I feel like there kind of has to be some addressing there. They kind of have to be like, you might not want to make this so. Like, Spider Cop should not be in this. So I'm just going to say that. Spider Cop should not be here.
It makes sense.
Do we know if does this run kind of parallel to, like, does it take place? I wonder if it takes place kind of like, because I could see if it takes place right after the first game, and spoilers, but when Miles discovers that's at the end. This could be Miles figuring out what to do. So
I feel like
Which I fucking like that idea.
But
more
I'm
than
saying the
anything
whole
else.
cop angle might not even though his dad's a cop, Miles might be hiding more and not willing to be as open as Spider-Man, so he wouldn't even have to worry, to your point. But like, I wonder if the ending of this will tie into Spider-Man 2, because this was basically a post-credit scene that is now a game.
Yeah.
But there was also something else that happened in the post-credits.
Right, which I feel
will be addressed in the sequel.
I feel like this will be like a kind of its own thing where he works with, like, well, obviously, spoilers, Peter knows he has spider capabilities.
Right.
So like that suit that you see him wearing is probably Peter Parker, like, providing that for him,
Right.
saying, hey, if you're going to go do this, let me help you. Like, I built my own or whatever. So I think it's kind of going to be like him, just like trying to get his feet under him and trying to figure out what's going on with his powers and his capabilities, but there's going to be something that's going to come along that's not as big as what was left off on in the previous game, but something that he can handle himself. Maybe get a little guidance from Peter Parker, but you know, it's all him, and it's all going to be him coming into his own as far as being like his version of Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like that. That's what I think.
And
is
I think it
Maybe it mirrors the Peter Parker Octavius relationship.
maybe.
Yeah, and I think what would be cool is if this ends and the sequel you can play as both, kind of like a switch
That would be
off and
cool.
on. Like this
Yeah.
sets it up, and then they converge. So like when you're playing the inevitable Spider-Man 2, you could switch between the two of them.
Yeah.
Type thing.
If they can find a way to do that, I'm in.
Jeff, are you excited about Spider-Man Miles Morales?
Yeah, I'm just a little nervous that it's going to be more of the same gameplay.
See, that's what TB said in our party. He was like, I hope they can have different attack combos and stuff with him in different combat, you know? So
Yeah, I mean, for those of us who are like trying to go for the platinum on these things, the gameplay loop definitely got a little bit old towards the end, but it's still fantastic, and I think it'll be fresh. I'm just nervous because it's only been 2 years. That how different can it be? You know?
yeah,
Right.
good point.
And the final game of our show.
Before you get to the final game, you did mention Oddworld Souls.
I did at the beginning. I said, well, I didn't know
Didn't
we
hear
needed an Oddworld game, but
Oh, I missed
Getting
that.
Odd-
I'm sorry.
we're getting
Then
Oddworld,
I will. Then
which-
let's.
this
talk about
actually,
the last game.
yeah, the last game, which I think, did we predict this? We could out of left field.
I think all of us said
I
it
think it was
wasn't
a
going
hope.
to be here.
I think we all said no. It's too soon. There's no way
It's
because
too
it won't be.
fucking
It
soon.
won't be a launch title, so we're not going to see anything. Horizon Forbidden West.
Wait a second. That's the last game? We ain't gonna fucking talk about Ratchet and Clank?
Oh, I messed up. It's been a
I
while.
was like,
since I
wait a
posted.
second.
All right,
Oh,
all
wait
right.
a second.
Back.
If
Move
someone,
on.
if one were to go in order, there wouldn't be missing games.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you.
Jeff, I love you. And this is why you should be the host.
I'll see you on next year's episode, folks. I was never
I'm
invited
not-
back again.
Not a dig at Matt. That was a dig
Oh,
at
good.
back.
for Nerds Gone Platinum.
Before our final game, I forgot the game that's going to show off the PlayStation 5's SSD drive, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Well, I feel like this game as a whole did more of the knack thing than Bug Snacks.
Meaning showing off what the
Showing off what the PS5 can do.
Yes, but not in a
Fuck,
way
this
that
game
it's
was really good.
it becomes forgettable like Knack did. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? Like,
Right.
like
I
I,
mean,
I
they
like
just-
where Matt's going with the idea of like it shows off the power of the SSD drive. Where like literally there were no loading screens. Like you watch the trailer and he's moving from world to world, and it's like instantly like you're
Ratchet
in that world
Bioshock
and
just
you're going.
tearing through dimensions. It was great.
Yeah. But I feel like obviously it's Ratchet and Clank. The what was it, 2016 game was
Mhm.
fucking phenomenal.
Mhm.
So and this seems right. As soon as they showed it, I was like, yeah, this makes sense because it's been 4 years, you know, and so they can just take it and expand on what they've already done, and it looks phenomenal. So you know, it's not just like here's a PS4 game. It's going to be on PS5 with some added bells and whistles. They really polished it. Like it looks really, really good. But that is like day one for me. Like Demon Souls, and then this just like locked it in. So
Yeah.
is this like a multiverse situation with female Ratchet, or what's going on with that?
I don't know. I don't want to speculate, but I am all in to find out because Ratchet and Clank games are some of their.
Could,
If I were to sit down and really analyze it myself, Ratchet and Clank is probably my favorite PlayStation IP.
ooh, okay.
Like without a doubt. I mean, like we could talk about Demon Souls, but like it launched a multi-platform IP. But I would probably say that like I've played more Ratchet. I've had more fun playing Ratchet, and the Ratchet games sort of exemplify the potential and all that is good in the 3D platform or the 3D platformer.
Right.
I don't want to speculate what female Ratchet or Ratchet is, but I kind of want to find out, especially where I want to find out how they get back to Ratchet.
Yeah, because it happened, and they kind of then moved on. Like, it was like, no, you guys didn't see that. Don't worry about that. Like, it never addressed it again. It was like, wait a minute.
Here's a little tease. And you're like, oh wait, what about that? And they're like, no, we're moving on.
She claims like
no, but
Ratchet
see, like that's a movie trailer though. Like that's what a movie trailer would do.
Yeah, it essentially was.
Yeah.
And I don't think people realize how cool it is that you'll literally jump world to world with like instantly. Like there's no loading. Like that's cool. And it looks like the guns are more diverse and have multiple uses.
Yeah, I feel like that the way that a lot of that was shown, there were trick guns a la Bloodborne, but I won't really speculate too hard there. But Ratchet and Clank, like that series as a whole, is known for just fucking weird ass guns.
But a good time. Jeff, are you excited about Ratchet and Clank?
Absolutely. Yeah, I got the platinum on the last one. This one's straightforward.
I mean, I will ask for two things out of a Ratchet and Clank game. One, they have to have the gun that makes everybody dance.
Right.
Which
the disco gun.
The disco gun. Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't remember what it's called, but
it's
like
the disco gun.
Or it's like the Groovatron or whatever. I don't know.
You might be right. Yeah.
And they have to have Mr. Zurkon. Like, those are the only two. I will ask for those two things before I will ask for the protagonists. Like, you have to have the Groovatron and Mr. Zurkon. You have that in a Ratchet and Clank game, I'm basically happy. And this game looked fucking good.
All right.
Let's talk about Horizons. Let's talk about Horizon Zero Dawn 2 Forbidden West.
Horizon Zero or Horizon Forbidden West, not even Zero Dawn.
It's you know what? No, you're not going to take that from me, Moose. It's Horizon
Zero
Dawn 2.
It's just Horizon.
Yeah, it's Horizon Forbidden West. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah.
We knew this was happening eventually. I didn't think we'd see this much.
There was a lot. It wasn't just like a 30-second like flash in the pan. This was
how many of us have seen the Never-Ending Story? How are they going to make that giant turtle a robot in Horizon 2?
Was that not cool? Like that thing came out of the ground. I was like, oh,
I can't wait to fuck that turtle up.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a circle it in awe as I watch it, and then, like you said, fuck it up almost.
And then, of course, we have to see Silence.
Yeah,
couldn't have it without him.
Well, you have to, because like if you haven't played it,
spoilers,
but whatever, you know where the game. Like if you've played it, you know where the game leaves off, and obviously they're going to move in the direction of following that storyline. So it's awesome. I think it's going to be good.
If you're wondering why it's not called Horizon Zero Dawn 2, then you need to go finish the game.
There you go.
Right, exactly.
It looks like she goes to some form of Vegas.
Yeah.
She underwater. She uncovered it looked like a card table of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, baby.
But
I like that there is water, but I've never really encountered a game with underwater that I enjoyed. I feel underwater physics are very hard to pull off, and I hope it's not a large part, unless they pull.
Did you like the BioShock games? Because those games are entirely underwater.
Yeah, but they're in something.
But
I meant
fish.
Yeah, but he means like swimming in the water.
The swimming is just. But yeah, this is. Let's wildly speculate. When do we know? When does this come out?
Not at launch.
No, I think this is 20. I think this is like March 2021.
I think it's fall next year.
I'd say I was going to say fall. I think it's fall next year.
But
That's 3 years.
it's very weird considering the time we are in and a game that's about to come out this coming Friday. I feel like when I wrapped up Horizon Zero Dawn, like I was sort of pissed that they led to a sequel like right away. But also like I kind of want to go back to Horizon where I do not want to go back to the rest of this.
Okay.
You know, like we've had that conversation.
Yeah, I don't really think we need to deliberate here, but I feel
No,
like
we're not. But I'm saying like I want to go back to Horizon to play Horizon, and I want to be in that world and play as Aloy. Like I think that would be fun. Whereas in like Last of Us 2, I'm kind of like I'm good.
Yeah.
If I buy it on sale, I'll buy it on sale. You know.
Mhm.
But anyways,
Jeff, thoughts?
Yeah, I'm super excited for it. I can wait though. I got plenty to play.
so I guess to wrap up this, like day one purchase, who's locked in, or who, if you hear a price and what games are coming out, would you be day one? Like you've seen the games that are coming. If they said any, you know, what would it take? You know, we've talked about that before.
For Deathloop would be a day one. I'm on the fence about Miles Morales. I want to play it. There's no doubt about it. But if it really is like Lost Legacy, which I know I haven't played it,
Or First Light?
those aren't long games.
But I feel like Lost Legacy is longer than First Light, so
I don't know if I'd buy it day one for the Spider-Man game.
Okay. So it would have to be like Deathloop, possibly Ratchet and Clank.
Ratchet and Clank, it's definitely Deathloop, definitely.
What about Returnal?
Yeah, I could see that. Demon's Souls, no, and Gran Turismo, no. I wouldn't buy it for that, but if it was also a launch title, I'd probably get it, but I wouldn't buy it for that. That's about like I wouldn't get it for. I want to play Kena and Little Devil Inside. I wouldn't buy. I don't think those aren't system sellers. I mean, I'm getting it, but it's.
But those are accessories. Those are I'm buying the system for fucking.
It's like, oh, I have this now.
Ratchet
okay, great.
Oh, now probably I can play Little Devil
Deathloop, Ratchet, or Returnal would be day one for me.
Jeff, what about you? What would like release? Like what would cause you to buy it day one, or you automatically like I like what I've seen and I'll pick it up at a later date?
Day one would have to be a combo of price, launch titles, and the backwards compatibility. Because I really feel like as soon as I have that new console, then the PS4 is not going to get very much attention at all. And if there are backlog games that I have that I can't play on my PS5, then there's going to be a slim to none chance of ever getting to them then. So I'm still not in the day one purchase camp yet, but there could be a combination of things that could sway me.
Yeah. Matt?
Well, if Demon Souls is a launch title, I'm in day one. If it's not, it depends on what else is. I basically have put away enough that if they were to announce a pre-order and a launch lineup tomorrow, I could make a decision. If Ratchet is a day one, then that definitely puts me in the conversation. I feel like I would need at least one, I don't want to say AAA experience, but like one interesting thing,
Mhm.
as well as backwards compatibility
Right, because
to
buy a
be
system for one game alone.
well. Because
without-
here's the thing: like we've had this discussion about Reba and her possibly going for a Bloodborne Platinum. So I kind of want to keep my PS4 just so like I don't have to buy another one in order to play. If and this is probably going to lead into our next real section where we can talk about the gripes we have about this conference, which they're probably across the four of us, there probably aren't many, or at least not many regarding the stuff that was mentioned. But like, let's pretend for a moment the launch lineup is Ratchet, Bug Snacks, and Sackboy's Big Adventure. That gets me in. Because I know Spider-Man said Holiday 2020, which basically indicates it's a launch title.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's
if-
almost like a throw-in.
Yeah.
I need
Yeah.
something, and then you get Spider-Man as well. But
And then for some reason, if Bug Snacks sucks, Sackboy sucks, and Demon Souls and Ratchet don't, then I at least have Astrobot's Playroom.
Right.
Mhm.
I mean, also you'll have Grand Theft Auto. Nobody's really talking about
Yeah,
that.
that's probably not going to happen. But
Right.
like, depending on what we hear about backwards compatibility and the future of PS Plus, like there's a lot to sort of hash out, and that those two things specifically could change the conversation with regards to it being day one.
Yeah, the backwards compatibility wasn't an issue. PS3 to 4. Because I'm also not getting rid of my PS4, but to get a system I don't think there obviously will be backwards compatibility. But like Jeff said, there are so many games in the backlog. Obviously, I'm not going to get to all of them, but if there's some lesser known indies that aren't on that list, it'd be a shame that they get neglected because the way it's going to work, the PS4 is going to move to my bedroom. It's going to be the Blu-ray player, and the PS3 gets packed up. And so the chance of playing it is it's slim to none. So backwards compatibility means more this time around because we're talking like if I'm playing PS4 on Monday, PS5 comes out on Tuesday, I'd kind of want to still maybe play the game I was in the middle of.
Yeah.
Because Ratchet's, 25 hours, maybe 30?
Mm-hmm.
Really push it. It's not, which is not a short game, but I mean.
It's not a short game, but it's not long.
Well, once you're done with it, I mean, I don't see, it's not like all these games are like, oh, we're going to have all these new releases by the time you finish. It's like, the time I finish, it's going to be a weekend. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You're not going to release a ton of new games. So knowing that I can then jump back to a PS4 game after, it definitely helps.
I feel like for me personally, like it's like I'm in the day one camp. The only thing that's going to keep me from solidifying that decision 100%, I'm like at 90% day one, is launch titles. And then, so like, there's a lot of things that like people haven't really talked about, and it's probably one of my gripes. So we can lead into that. I'll lead into that section of it. With it is like price. I want to see price. Like Jeff has said, backwards compatibility. Because more than likely, I'll probably trade in my PS4 to buy my PS5. If I can play enough of my games that are on PS4 on my PS5 to the point where I'm like, all right, I can go back in like a year or two and buy a PS4 and play some of these older ones or whatever. But or they can guarantee to me, if you trade in your PS4, eventually all your games are going to be backwards compatible at a time. Then I'll be like, fine. I'll be so lost in playing the new Spider-Man game, the new Ratchet and Clank, Bug Snacks, you know, Astrobot, I mean, and Sackboy. Like, it's not going to be a problem for me, you know what I mean? And Returnal. So it will only become an issue after I'm done with like the newish titles. But anyways, my thing that I haven't seen is, like Jeff has said, like backwards compatible. My other gripe is like, what are the other features of the PS5? Like what are the new streaming? Like what is going to happen with Twitch? What's the Twitch integration with the system? Like how is it improved over the PS4? Like as a streamer who streams from his console, what are you giving me? You know what I mean? Like how is that going to work for me? Like that's what I want to know about. Like are we going to have, nobody else thinks about this too, but I'm sure they're in the works, but what about streaming apps? Is Netflix going to be available day one? Is Hulu and Amazon going to be available day one? Or is it going to be like you buy your console and then you have to wait like months until they get their, you know, they get their apps on the system? You know what I mean? Like, where is that and what's going on with that? You know? So, and for love of God, give me a black controller. That white one's fugly. But yeah, those are my gripes. Just like, what else is the system going to do other than play these amazing games? You know? So
My only gripe is that I was right and there was no price. I said last week there won't be a price reveal. I was right. I'm pissed that I was right, but that's really my only gripe.
Fuck, I want to be wrong, Jim Ryan. Jesus.
So I was actually right in my prediction, because we were in the party and we were talking about it, and people are like, "What is going to have to be?" I'm like, Demon Souls is going to be announced. Sony has to come out swinging for the fences, and I'll be honest, it was like a home run derby for them. They just freaking knocked it out of the park and won it, and that was announced. But I agree with Jason. There was no price. Like that's a huge gripe. You know.
Jeff, any gripes about the conference?
No, I mean, I was pretty happy with it. I got, you know, blown away by just the number of exclusives, and you know, Microsoft's got a big problem if they can't come up with games exclusives. They're going to get buried again.
I also think the two SKUs gives PlayStation a leg up in the sense that Microsoft cannot undercut the cost, because sure, the Xbox Series X might be cheaper than the disc version, but then PlayStation, because they're not going to have it cheaper than both, I doubt. I don't see that as being a fee. So Xbox One X, Series X is going to be in the, they need a easier name. Like seriously. It's going to be between the two. It's sex. Sex versus PS.
Yeah. You're welcome.
But no, I think no matter what the price is, I don't see, I envision the Xbox being between the two SKUs. I don't see them cheaper than both. Yeah. And even then, if it's cheaper than both, you boast Game Pass and you're like, it's cheaper and you get Game Pass. But that said, we'll say price. Why was I right? Damn it.
Fucking Marshall.
Any gripes?
Nope.
I mean, my one gripe is the clarification around backwards compatibility. Like, that's really it. Now that I've seen that, like, honestly, immediately after they sort of wrapped up, I'm like, man, it would have been nice to have had a price and a pre-order, because I've been painstakingly putting away money since 2020 started, and I would have liked to have been able to say, like, yeah, I can pre-order this now.
Yeah.
Which, based on the high I felt after that wrapped, I probably would have went to the link, pre-order right then and there, because I was actually, like, I was genuinely excited. I mean, And of all the, and like I've watched I've watched a ton of trailers in the time since. Nothing sort of made me as excited as the suite of games that Sony sort of put on. I do think that they also, I mean, the other real flaw I could level against it is there was no sort of clarification with PlayStation Plus. But I also think that there's time between now and launch for that to happen. Yeah, I know PlayStation Plus is going to be a thing going forward. Not really worried about that. But the
Is
speculation,
it going to incorporate now?
the speculation is PS Now. And
Yeah.
as someone who has thought about doing that, and between conversations with Todd Oxtra, as well as just sort of looking at that sort of service, I'm starting to think I might want to do it. But I would like to know how they plan to foster it going forward
Mm-hmm.
and what that means. But yeah, backwards compatibility, price, and the future of PlayStation Plus would probably be my three-ish gripes. I don't really have anything beyond that, but feel like there's more to discuss within each of them. But we can't really discuss that without wildly speculating.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And since I don't know shit, I don't want to speculate.
This has been Story Route Platinum. Take us out of here, Moose.
I
Story Route Zero, we have some cool friends who do some cool things, and I'd like to tell you about them. Phoenix Overdrive uses the power of games and gamers to help heal sick kids through the charity Extra Life. Phoenix Overdrive fundraises for Children's Miracle Network hospitals all year, every year, and the fund culminates in a 24-hour gaming marathon. Find out more about their events and projects online via Facebook at facebook.com/Phoenix Overdrive or on Twitter and Instagram at PHX_Overdrive. You can also join the Facebook group of Pawn Stars at facebook.com/groups/PO Nation in order to share and discuss all the latest in nerd culture. They've also got a podcast, Nerd Overdrive, which you can see weekly at youtube.com/Phoenix Overdrive. You can also catch it on Facebook Live or twitch.tv/PHX_Overdrive. That podcast is also published on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Stitcher. You want merch? They got merch. Merch can be ordered from tinyurl.com/PHXOD merch, a portion of which goes to their fundraising efforts. Join the nation and be a hero to sick kids, as El Capitan Rey Osorio, Lee the Maestro, and Becky, the lovely queen of the guild, always say, #Rise Above. This has been an episode of Story Route Zero. Thank you for coming along on this journey. We sincerely hope you enjoyed yourself as much as we enjoyed having you. Once again, you can find everything we do at StoryRoute0.com. Hit us up on Twitter at StoryRoute_0, or you can email us at StoryRoute0@gmail.com. If you'd like to hit us up individually anywhere, you can find Moose at Sven, that's SVHENN, everywhere on social media. That's PSN, that's Twitter, that's Instagram. You can also find him on Twitch, streaming games. You can find Jason Marshall at GimpyJ, with 2 Y's at the end. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's Twitch, and he also has a website called whereisthepausebutton.com. Captain Canada is the only Story Route Zero exclusive. He's the only one you can only find right here on the show. As for me, I'm Infinite_Rewind everywhere I'd like to be. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's PSN, and Twitch. I also have my own website, infiniterewind.com, where I do all sorts of weird writing and rambling. Check us out at all the places. And remember, you are always welcome, and you will always have a seat waiting for you on this ride. But for now, it's back to the real world for us. We will see you on the next one.